was out of their league, and he's also signed Gary Hooper on a permanent deal from Norwich. So it's left then to Swansea by the looks of it. Their chairman Hugh Jenkins has so far failed in a bid to strengthen his forward line at the Liberty Stadium. Well, as far as the deal to sign Rhodes is concerned, Blackburn will be looking at £10 million, and that could well be a stumbling block for the Swans.
These are your latest Bolton headlines, beginning with the news that Neil Lennon has urged his players to take control of their own destiny against MK Dons on Saturday. Already 7 points adrift of safety. Defeat at the Macron Stadium would leave Wanderers with a mountain to climb over the remainder of the campaign. Many have already suggested that relegation is a certainty, but the manager insists there is no such attitude coming from the dressing room. And though events off the field continue to cast a shadow, Lennon will demand his players focus solely on matters on the pitch. He said, "This is pressure we've brought on ourselves. We're in this situation because we haven't got results, but if we beat MK Dons, the whole landscape changes again. Things look different. You can't plan anything at the moment."
You're with Andy Penders on Red Card Sports Radio.
Welcome everyone, it's the Andy Pennant Show on Red Card Live. Wherever you're watching or listening, it is the radio show, the ultimate preview show for the weekend. On the show today, wicked show. Tampines Rovers chairman Krishna Ramachandra on changing the S League and the role of a chairman. Vice chairman Leon Hwee also in the studio as we get to the bottom of upper tier management at a football club. Regular Premier League contributor Steve McBain shares his thoughts after coming back from the UK. We preview some of the top games tonight. We also hear from fans across the spectrum, S League fans and supporter of Premier League teams. We look at the latest sports news from around the world, the Australian Open, the German Bundesliga, S League news and the like. Plus, we give you the chance to win a brand new Samsung phone. Oh, yes, we do. Dez Corkhill previews the two remaining games in the AFC Under-23 Championships. That's at 7 o'clock. Plus, if you want to get anything off your chest, you can do so. You can ring the usual number, 6281 1745. That's 6281 1745. Or if you're watching on the Red Card Live app, you can press the Call Now button as well. Get in touch with us at Red Card Sports on Twitter if you have anything to say. Anything. Actually, you know what? If you've got anything to say, say it. I thought that was Singapore fans saying, bashing out the keyboard, bashing out the text on the Facebook and all that. Never ringing up. Nothing to say. Say it. Get on the line. I want to hear from you because today's the day where we get your views and opinions out. Intern Pratap is on the ones and twos cutting tonight. Hello to Intern Pratap. Producer Nicholas Lim helming the whole show. He's been working hard all week to put this together. Here he is with the latest sports news.
Thanks, Andy. We start with tennis, and Joanna Konta has become the first British woman to reach the fourth round of the Australian Open in 29 years after she beat Czech Denisa Alatova. Konta eased past Alatova 6-2, 6-2 to reach the last 16. Konta will face Russia's Ekaterina Makarova for a spot in the quarterfinals. And in football, Chelsea have sacked a club steward after he was caught on camera insulting midfielder Cesc Fabregas. The incident occurred earlier this season, but the video only recently emerged online. The steward was caught calling Fabregas a snake, and Chelsea confirmed they've taken action against the former staff member. And finally, in golf, world number 1 Jordan Spieth and former top-ranked player Rory McIlroy have both struggled to impress in the second round of the Abu Dhabi Open. McIlroy failed to register a single birdie on the day, and Spieth's only notable highlight was a drive that hit a spectator, which saved him from hitting the water. England's Andy Sullivan leads the pack with McIlroy 2 shots off the pace, while Spieth lags the leaders by a whopping 7 shots.
Thanks, Nick. Actually hit him on the arse. You see that? You've seen it? Hit him on the bottom. Did Jordan Spieth there. What else? A steward getting sacked for calling someone a snake?
A snake. Presumably something to do with his Arsenal past.
Yeah, well, that's too funny. Hey, you might notice that we've changed the set. Don't worry, we're sort of interim here. You won't be able to see this if you're listening to us on the radio, but for those streaming on YouTube and on the Red Card Live app, It looks a bit different. Don't worry, we've got the big video wall coming in soon, and it's going to be awesome. Wicked show for you today. Let's get straight to our guests. 4 months in charge at Tampines Rovers, and there's a revolution occurring. There's a new youth programme. Ronaldinho gets involved. There's a new kit, new colours, new sponsors, brand new squad, marquee players signing, and perhaps single-handedly these boys revamping interest in the S League. I'm delighted to welcome Tampines Rovers Chairman and Vice Chairman Krishna, Ramachandra and Leon Hwee. Hi, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
Nice to have you on the show. What's going on?
Good to be on. I'm glad that we've got an opportunity to reach out to the masses, and this is a great platform. Thank you.
Actually, that's a good question. Why come on the show? It seems to me, being a chairman, vice chairman, right? Damned if you do, and why come on? People are going to go, why isn't the manager coming on talking sport? Why come on?
Why come on? For me personally, I think the messaging has to come from the top. So that everyone knows what we're doing as a club, and it's just not sound bites from the manager, from a team manager or someone who is not directly dealing with the leadership. And Leon is here as well because he's a strong part of the team as well. I make a lot of my decisions with his consultation, so I thought it was very useful that two of us appear on the show today.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's important that people, the fans out there, get to hear directly from us, what the plans are, what our views, Sometimes the media, unless they see it face to face or hear it live, right, they may have a different perception, Is this club, is there anything different? Are they doing it the same, just like other clubs, What's the difference, Is there a new... what's the new management style at Tampines Rovers? So we're here to share.
Pesky media, eh?
Yeah.
And one way of completing the circle, if you like, is our GM or CEO is he's Malay, I'm Indian, he's Chinese, and we've got a Caucasian conducting the show. So
exactly.
It's perfect.
Geylang Boleh, by the way.
Geylang Boleh, yeah. No
hey,
problem.
I'm going on Tuesday, because we're playing the real JDT this week. No, there's JDT too. There seems to be a real interest in the S League this year, as opposed to other years. I'm talking recent years, right?
Yeah.
Let's start off with a broad concept. There's a few things I'd like to do with you guys while you're here, right? Firstly is understand what does the chairman and vice chairman mean? What do they do? We'll get to the bottom of that. I'd like to get your views on the current setup of the S League, and then moving forward, how the season is going to shape up and what we can expect. Okay. Let's just ask you an overriding question first up to both of you. What's wrong with the S League, and how can we fix it?
Start off with a tough one, yeah. The S League, what's wrong with it? I personally, I think the fans are jaded. We have lost some passion in local football. There's nothing wrong in the football in itself, perversely, but it is the delivery and the way the fan engagement has been conducted. That's what's lacking, and that's kind of led to the current state of affairs. I mean, that's my take.
You see, when you ask, what's wrong with wrestling, right? Really, the answer differs depending on which segment of the population you're speaking to. People who watch football, Singapore playing Malaysia League in the 90s, right? They will say, like, we missed the Kallang Roar, the passion, people in that age category, 35 years and above, they were there then, okay? But if you look at the younger people, right, those 20-year-old, they probably only watch EPL. They've never had to sit in a stadium, and with all this streaming live, on your mobile sets, they have a different experience. And then they start comparing all EPL matches with, S League matches.
Right. Is that the opportunity then with the younger crowd?
Yeah. So I think when we need to address this issue, we need to look at it at different segments of our population. And, the remedies may differ accordingly.
And in fact, latching on to Leon's point, we are fortunate that we've got quite a big group of volunteers right now, and almost half of them are focused on our social media initiatives, our website, we are developing an app, world-class app, which will get fans even more engaged, because that's a important sliver of the footballing fan community that needs to be reached out aggressively.
Sure, I'm looking forward to your Snapchat.
Okay.
Krishna at home.
Yeah.
It's true, right? That's what you're going to do. Right? Players training, Snapchatting, all that social media.
Sure.
Yeah, it's good. So, what are we forgetting about the over 35s then?
Not
They're
at all.
done?
Not at all.
No. That's not true. I mean, they bring the kids, you know.
Well, they should
These
do.
are the parents that have kids that are in primary school right now. They'll bring the kids to the stadium, you know. So we do need the right ingredients, if the athlete aspires to the standards it once had.
It's a multi-pronged attack.
Sure.
It is. It has to be. And we have on our board of in our committee guys who have helped out in clubs from as long ago as the 90s, the mid 90s, to those who've just joined. So we need that mixture because we want to make sure all angles are covered, because just both our opinions would not represent the entire universe of the Singapore fan base vis-a-vis S-League.
And there's general excitement within the club and within the S-League community. Is that tangible for this season in particular, given some of the signings that have been made, given that the Lions 12 players have coming back, given the media somehow seem to have set up and taken a bit of notice of what's going on? Are you worried? Can you continue this momentum that we've got pre-season? And that's the challenge, isn't it?
I think so, because we have just been fortunate with a couple of things. Actually, all the clubs were fortunate with the Lions 12s being distributed amongst the other clubs. So that was good. That was good for football. It's good for the S League, and quite frankly, it was so fortuitous for us to have been able to snag Jermaine, because a very quality signing. And I'm glad that the media picked up on it and gave it the coverage that it rightfully that we rightfully and the club and the S League rightfully deserve. So I'm very happy for that. Sustainable. It's all about the engagement. It's and I was speaking to Leon on our way here, and we were saying, it's not about us. It's not about Pennant. It's not about young chairman coming on board. It's not about Tampines Rovers. It's really about the entire ecosystem of the S League, which means all the other club chairmen and their core management, and how they engage the fans, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, I want a beer at half time. And I think you can only get that in an Albrecht's Nagata game, can't you, with the Kirin? I'm just saying.
Right, okay.
That's one of the things.
Point noted. Noted.
I'd love a match day
but then,
experience.
but then you got to remove that Gelang Bole and
That's
have
my club. It's my club,
right?
I'm looking forward to that trip on Tuesday. It's good, but you're right about the social media. I think everyone seems to have stepped up. Actually, looking across the board on their Facebook, on their website, on their Twitter page, it seems to have changed since last year. What sort of let's just get a current state of affairs as to where Tampines is before the season kicks off. How's pre-season going?
Very well, very well. I mean, Leon and I were saying the other day we were at the game against JDT. It doesn't make a difference whether it's 1 or 2. It was JDT. We were, and the boys played well. We
did. We played a good game.
And I thought the off the pitch, the spirit was very good. I like the way the boys stood up for each other and also encourage each other on the sidelines, because it was a shuffle for the entire, after halftime the entire team got shuffled around.
Well, I noticed that at the press launch for the Jermaine Pennant signing, you watched the boys. I mean, this is one of the problems that you face, is trying to mould together a team of players that have never played with each other before, right? But the camaraderie seemed to be excellent, even when they were just having their makan and just hanging out. That was really cool. Have you made any initiatives to try and get that team bonding together, or is that something that Sundram looks after?
No, I'm. Both of us are personally involved. We hosted all the boys over at my place not too long ago.
A couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we interrupted that to get
exactly. Yeah, that's right. So for us, that was very important, and we want the players to know that they can reach out, WhatsApp or messaging to the chairman, right? Because that's important. And in fact, oddly enough, I during the period of time when we were interviewing the players, I heard from not just one source, but from several players who said that this is the very first time they've spent more than an hour and a half with the chairman of the club negotiating their contract. And I hope that's that's something positive that the players can take back, to know that we are going to be involved in their development, because that's how the passion even amongst the players is going to be regenerated. And we are both very busy corporate finance lawyers.
For sure,
right?
For sure. Your bios, by the way, because obviously I love doing research, the most mentalist, longest packed in bios I've ever seen.
Sorry about that.
And that's okay. It's like you've lived 5 or 6 lifetimes all in one, and and then you decide to become a football chairman. And 4 months into being a chairman, the new paper's given you bylines such as the 44-year-old lawyer has created more buzz in the S League than the Football Association has done over the past few years.
Well, yeah, that's flattering. I know.
That's compliment to Krishna.
Yeah, that is, but it's. I mean, to be fair, I've been around the scene as vice chairman for several years, but
I want to get some Heng stories as well.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Because I'm sure we'll get to them in just a bit. But carry on.
And so I've actually observed. There's a lot you can learn from observing, right? The good and the bad. Not only within the team, but amongst the other teams, as well as with the players and the fans. So I did learn a lot, but I have a passion for football. My kids play football. My sons are aspiring to play for Liverpool. So it's in the family. So that there is a natural tendency to want to commit passionately to this sport.
And you remember the Selangor?
I do. I remember having my hair pulled off by yanked off by friends. Whenever we scored, we will just go around pulling each other's hair, right? Screaming at the top of our heads and just pulling each other's hair. Luckily, most of it is still here.
You've done what? 44, right?
Yeah, 44. So for me, I'm just fortunate that passion rules this particular appointment for me, and I somehow find the time. You find the time when you have passion. We both really do run a very busy practice. I'm actually chairman of the firm, the international firm in Asia this year. Leon actually runs our Shanghai office as well, on top of the Singapore office. But if
which company is this? This is Dwayne
Morris.
Yeah, Dwayne Morris in Selangor. Yeah. So we have got 800 lawyers worldwide, but it's still something which. That's the day job, so to speak, right? That pays the bills. But in a perverse way, we've been able to tap on that network, that network of clients, that network of administrators, and even within the government as well. So it's I think it's been a very useful link, our careers with the current role we play, because we are volunteers right now, and that's the way it should be.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's it's actually a good thing that we get volunteers in to help run the club, because there's no conflict of interest, right? I mean, there could be some business owners. I mean, generally, globally, a lot of football clubs are run for profits, and it is in the interests of all these clubs owners to maximize their profits, okay? And they make certain decisions, and then as a result of those decisions, the club gets a lot of debt. A lot of football clubs have gone bust in the last 50 years, okay? Sure. And, the difference between, even before then, right, Football Association in the UK, right, in the past, they used to have caps on how much dividends, the club can pay its owners. They were not allowed to fleece, the club. And in the past, football clubs were run as a not-for-profit organizations. That has changed dramatically, okay? So Krishna and myself, we are just actually regular folks, regular Singaporeans who grew up watching the Kallang games, okay? And we, for some reason, Krishna was very passionate. He wrote me in to help, and I do have some, have gone through the experience of the Kallang waves as well. So he said, yeah, sure, let's try to do something, okay? Let's not be like other guys complaining about how bad the S League is, Let's put our brains together, sit down, talk to other volunteers, other passionate fans, engage the government, the relevant ministries, get the support, get a corporate support of Singapore corporates as well, Singapore Inc. I'm sure there are enough smart boys in Singapore, smart ladies in Singapore who can sit down in a room and fix whatever problems that people say that we have.
Sure.
Yeah. And if I may add, really to remove the personal agenda from the equation. I mean, that should almost be a top priority when we have people helming clubs and helping to run clubs, because then it becomes a lot more pure. Your ultimate goal is always going to be, how can I make the club better? How can I make the league better? How can I develop the players vis-a-vis the national agenda?
Are there too many clubs with too many individuals with their own individual campaigns then?
It's hard to say. I'm just extrapolating that if the S League isn't as well run, what's not working? I mean, I know for sure that there's some hugely passionate chairmen right now, a lot of them whom I respect.
Do you speak to them a lot?
Yes, I do. I speak quite frequently to Mr. Tava as well, someone whom I respect a lot, yeah.
We are with Krishna, Ramachandra and Leon Hwee, Chairman and Vice Chairman of Tampines Rovers. Great to have them on the show. It's the Andy Pennant Show on Red Card Sports Radio. I've still got some wicked questions to hit these guys with, all right? The questions that you've asked as well. The really uncomfortable ones, plus the really nice ones as well. Because that's the kind of show we are, right, Nick? Let's get the very latest S-League news. Why not? Because that's what we're concentrating on today. Here's intern Pratap. And you can judge at home whether he's any good or not.
Okay, thanks, Andy. We'll start with Albirex Niigata. The Japanese side announced a new apparel sponsor last night. Denmark-based Hummel Sports have finally ventured into the Southeast Asia by sponsoring the kits of last season's League Cup and Singapore Cup champions. Meanwhile, Albirex faced off against the Young Lions this morning in a 9 a.m. kickoff at the Clementi Stadium. The White Swans edged the Young Lions 1-0 with Kazuki Mine scoring in the second minute. Next up, Balestier Khalsa. Gary Lu will finally return to the Topayo Stadium in the 2016 season. The 23-year-old midfielder tore his right anterior cruciate ligament during a training match with the Cots Young Lions in August 2012 and has not played a professional match since. Lu is hoping Balestier Khalsa will be the club to revive his stuttering career. Finally, Brunei GPMM. The defending champions have retained 3 important members of their title-winning squad, including last season's top scorer Rafael Ramazzotti, who planted 21 goals in 27 games. Joining the Brazilian are defender Brian McLean and midfielder Paulo Sergio. Thanks for now. I'm so sorry. That's all for now. Back to you, Andy.
Mate, not bad. I reckon like 7 out of 10, which is quite good coming from me, a bit experienced pro in the way. Not bad, bro.
Thanks, Andy. The second one will be a 10 of 10.
He's saving his best one for the Tampines Rovers. Hey, not bad, bro. Hey, good to know. Some good facts, good DPMM knowledge as well. Intern Pratap with the latest S-League news there with Krishna and Leon, our special guests for today. On the way, Steve McBain will help us preview some of the Premier League games. We also hear from Dez Corkhill as we take a look forward to the AFC quarterfinals tonight. 2 more games to find out who will face Qatar and Japan in the semi-finals over in Doha. But with Chris and Krishna and Leon on what it's like to be chairman. Okay, here's my perception of chairman and vice chairman, right? And I'm tipping it's the same perception worldwide, okay? It's a thankless job for a start. I guess you usually set out to do one or two things. One is either make as much money as you can for the club, or try and, secondly, just hemorrhage any losses that you're having. Just give us if I was to ask you, what does a chairman do for the club? What does a vice chairman do for the club? What would you say to a layman?
I would say that the chairman puts forward the inspiration and vision of the club as agreed by the exco body, and the vice chairman, if he's a Chinaman, ensures that the money is all good.
Gotcha. Yeah, happy with that, Neil?
Yeah, happy with that.
I thought that you basically would sit there waving your checkbook in some sort of narcissistic way, while Leon would just nod.
It's the other way around. Yeah, shake his head. He's the money guy here. He makes sure his job is to ensure that we get it right and we are sustainable.
Okay, well, it leads to the question: how on earth have you got this money, Leon? Like we quoted the other day, saying you got close to 1 million in some way or form in terms of sponsorship. Is that a good number or a bad number? Is there a lot more money out there?
Well, that 1 million actually really is a combination of what the FAS also gives, and then we have got our traditional sponsors. Hyundai Komoko,
Right.
as well as a couple of other groups that have come in, including a very well-known international law firm called Dwayne Morrison Selva.
I heard they're excellent.
Yeah.
And Red Card involved as well. So.
A red card group. Yeah, they came in with a pretty sizable number. So actually,
That was my bonus. That's okay. Don't worry. What sort of chairman are you then, Krishna? Are you the hands-on chairman that gets involved with the players, goes down to training? Are you the hands-on chairman that is close to the fans and wants to get involved with the fans? Are you the type of chairman that wants to rule by a bit of authority? Because you look through the history of chairmen, and there are weird people, chairmen, typically, right? Typically, I've got a whole list of some great stories from Ken Bates to Luciano Galchi to Sam Haman. And they kind of do some crazy stuff, right? So, are you going to be firing managers, Krishna? Are you going to be down doing the training? Are you going to be picking the team at some point?
No, okay. Let me at least get that one clear. I will never pick the team, and that's really the job for the coach. I don't think it is proper for someone who is not the coach to actually interfere in the coach's job. Okay, that's out of the way. Kind of chairman I am. I'm gregarious by nature, so I like going down. I put my boots on 2 weeks ago, and I was training with the boys.
Did you pass your 2.4?
I did in national service 816 rather.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm certainly very hands-on, and I have a WhatsApp group chat with all my players, all the volunteers, and I like to know what's happening and to give my input when it's needed. That's just my leadership style in general, and I think in particular this year for Tampines Rovers, it's necessary because
just into the mic there, Chris.
It's necessary because we need the fan engagement with a proper interaction with the players. So understanding both sides is going to be very important this year.
Krishna, you speak Mandarin? Do you?
一点点.
Wow. So do you converse mainly in Mandarin, or is it English?
Well, he tries to learn from the master. No, but seriously, I've been observing Krishna since he took on the chairmanship, right?
Yeah.
And for a while, my law firm seemed like it's Tampines Rovers, clubhouse. I see the players walking in and out. There'll be a lot of meetings in, and then he'll be bombarding us with messages, WhatsApp, in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good to see the passion there. We're hoping that more chairmen will come on. But we just want to provide the platform so that more awareness of the S League, and there's an end vision, there's an end goal. I'm personally a little bit upset that the ASL is looming on the horizon, because I'm going to put a lot of effort and money into supporting Geylang International this year. And if you're going to tell me next year that this team's going to be a feeder team to another competition, it makes me upset, and it makes me kind of reluctant to spend the money that I'm going to spend going to the Larkin Stadium on Tuesday, to buying the kit, to buying, I feel a bit upset about that. What's Tampines Rovers' take on the looming ASL?
I think the ASL is. I actually think we should not be even talking about the ASL purely because it's. It's conjecture at this time, and there's just so much being said about it. We don't even know if FIFA would approve of it.
FAS seem pretty adamant it's going ahead. Have you got a balance to what you say against the FAS? If they're giving you money, right? I don't know, and they give you money to help you out to make the league better, or I don't know. They give you, then you have to be quite careful about what you say against them, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, if it's something you feel strongly about, and if it's something which impacts the franchise and the viability of the S League, then of course you've got to say your views. Okay. I think the main concern is if the S League ends up being a feeder to the ASL, where the rest of the participating countries provide second-grade players, whereas we provide our top players, and then you'll just have a sideshow really in the S League, and it's really for the benefit of all the other second stringers from the other countries to benefit from our top players going across. So that's the main concern, and I'm not sure how we can address it without still ensuring the S League has the right amount of fan engagement, the right type of media coverage as well.
Okay. Good. I think it's a fair answer. In terms of that we were speaking about the money that's been raised. Is there a lot more money out there, Leon, that can be grabbed? Are there a lot more opportunities for sponsors to get involved in the product this year?
No, of course there are always opportunities for sponsors, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it depends on offering we give, you know.
Sure.
Different sponsors have different requirements. I mean, if you're talking to banks, you're talking to, say, financial institutions, or even real estate companies, or even, say, the Singapore Bus Services, you know, everyone has a different idea of, you know, how they want, you know, their product to be.
Right. So obviously it helps getting a pennant here, presumably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's generated a lot of interest. Have you been offered any other players?
No other well-known players.
Okay. That's somewhat surprising to me. I don't know why. If you got Pennant, who's massive news, by the way, in England, massive. Ever since he was 15, everyone knows about him.
Yeah.
He's headline. Like, he's proper headline. That's why when we broke the story on Red Card, that thing goes worldwide. It's in L'Equipe. I'm being quoted in the French newspaper. It's, you know, it's big. So I'm surprised. Okay, you've got room for one more foreigner, as I understand it. I know you got 3, but you can register 4. Is that
Yes,
right?
we have registered we've registered. Yes, we have got room for one more,
Right.
whom I think we'll be signing on shortly.
Okay, who's that?
Billy Nemeth.
Okay.
And so if he checks out, then he would be our 3rd foreigner. And we have Jun Kwon, who will be just be playing for the AFC games.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is Pennant registered for that?
In the process of, I mean, he might miss the deadline, but at least he'll be part of the 2nd stage.
Big game coming up, boys. We'll get to that in just a moment. How exciting that is! With Krishna and Leon, who've given their time. You know, the only reason Red Card Sports Radio exists is because of the time of passionate people that they give to us and share with us, and you're part of very much of this community. So thank you for your time, guys. We really appreciate it. Lots more coming up on Red Card Sports Radio today, including a full round of Premier League fixtures. Go the Super Saints against Manchester United. Let's just give you a reminder of what's coming your way on Red Card Sports Radio.
Team news, score flashes, and the best footballing guests. Red Card Sports Radio.
Still to come on Barclays Premier League Live. Norwich City versus Liverpool from Carrow Road.
Oh, it's nutmegged, classy. And laid back to Tete. There's the breakthrough. And it's a Didgeridoo who sets it up, but it's Alex Tete who finishes it. Towards Benteke, it's going to come down. Yes! Liverpool are level! It's Joe Allen! The substitute has done it!
Creating of chances is the mother of the goal, so we have to create chances. The more often we are in the situation, the more often we have to take the right decision. That's what we didn't do often enough. That's for sure. That's a little bit how it always is in football.
Manchester United versus Southampton from Old Trafford.
Memphis here for United. Shot block, Rooney! Wayne Rooney is back with a hellacious bang from the edge of the area. Tadic, is he onside? He is! And he has surely sealed the points. Dusan Tadic with a stunning strike across the goalkeeper.
I think the pressure is a little bit gone, but it's returning when we are losing against Southampton. So it's always the same pressure for Manchester United. We have to win. Our fans are expecting us to win.
West Ham United versus Manchester City from Upton Park.
Will be quiet to take it. Right-footed. Oh, what a goal from Dimitri Payet. We said it had to be him who had the creative spark for West Ham United. Crosses back in towards Sterling, who heads home. Manchester City get the breakthrough they want.
Now we must try to arrive as soon as we can.
Enter a new generation of sports. Red Card Sports Radio.
Welcome back. It's the Andy Pennant Show on Red Card Sports Radio. We're streaming live on YouTube, live on the Red Card Live app. Hey, give us a call. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask Krishna and Leon, you can do so on 6281 1745. 6281 1745. We do have a list of questions that we'd like to ask the guys that you've sent in, so many thanks for that. On the way, Steve McBain is here also to tell us his views and opinions about Chelsea in particular, because he was there over Christmas, right? So I want to get involved and ask him about that. We'll also preview the AFC Under-23 quarterfinals. I'm doing comms tonight, Nick, by the way, on Fox. I can't even remember the game I'm doing. What game am I doing?
Well, I don't know. You didn't tell me.
UAE against Someone. But don't worry, I'll find out before I do the comms tonight. We're with Krishna and Leon. Guys, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Got some quick fire questions to ask you, okay? Okay. Let's assume I'm a Tampines player. I am earning, I'm guessing, I'm not very good, by the way. I'm earning between 4,000 and 6,000 K a month, right? All of a sudden, I see Jermaine Pennant earning sexy figures, unquote. How's that going to make me feel? How are you managing that? Because that must be mental to manage that, the discrepancy in wages between your marquee player and... or is this just a problem you're giving to Sundram? Poor Sundram, man. How is he going to manage that? Look at the problems that have been created here.
The fact of the matter is the players are smart enough to know that this is an anomaly, and they recognize that a player of Pennant's caliber will just simply command that sexy figure. So I don't think that's an issue. But if you were to get someone who's been playing, in the region and whom they have played alongside, and then you give something even, 50% more than what they're getting, then there'll be a riot.
Are they on good money, some of your boys?
Yeah.
You're looking after them?
Yeah, I think so.
2-year contracts, 3-year contracts, that sort of thing?
Yeah, some of them on multi-year contracts. Actually, the reality is that every player is on a rolling contract so long as they are still performing, and some of them are younger and earn more than some of our junior lawyers.
Wow. All right, so it's actually a career option.
That's exactly it.
Because that message hasn't been coming across recently, has it?
Mm. And actually, we were speaking about it briefly earlier. That's the reality, because if everyone ups the game and makes the coffers of ex-league clubs a lot bigger, they can then start upping the salaries for everyone, and then that becomes a realistic career option.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the lost initiatives that really should be explored, and we are certainly doing that.
Questions from the fans. First up, Faisal Jabba says, is the coach going to build the team around Jermaine Pennant?
Absolutely not.
Sal Bole says, why change the colours to red? Any reasons? Traditions should be followed. Tampines is not red, it's yellow and black.
Yes, we have a yellow and black kit that's going to be for the S League. The red and white, that's for the AFC. And we have new sponsors, so we're actually working with them to make sure that the yellow and black kit is the one which fits perfectly for us. So, akan datang.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Coming soon.
Okay. Stanley One asked the same question as well. Dez Corkhill says, why play in Geelong, the opposite side of the island, to any potential local support base?
I mean, that's been one of our handicaps over the last few years. The fact of the matter is our stadium, we had to give our Tampines Stadium up a few years ago so that it could be revamped and rebuilt. The new stadium should be ready by the end of the year. And so we've been pretty much nomads over the last 3-4 years. Clementi and now recently in Jurong West, it's impacted our fan base. It's impacted a lot of things. So we are very hopeful that we are back in business at Tampines, hopefully as the only club, because it'll be a shame to have to share it with any other club.
Have you got lots of fans, Leon?
Yeah, look at the turnout for our friendly.
Well, 2,000, but I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if they're all Tampines fans.
I think we do have a lot, I mean, I walk on the streets, people should say, hey, I saw you on the papers, you're the new vice chairman, I'm a Tampines fan.
Have you done any autographs yet, Leon?
No, they asked for Pennant's one.
Of course they do. In fact, Tom Hutton writes in, can Jermaine be available to play for TGA Buffalo every Sunday if he's not doing anything? Hey, Ida asked a really good question. Why weren't they talking about so many fans there? Why weren't there any stalls selling jerseys at the friendlies? 2,000 came. Imagine the sales. How come that hasn't been?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that, for giving me the opportunity to answer that on radio, which is we wanted to make sure that the sponsors were not shortchanged. And we did have a lot of sponsors who have come in more recently. We wanted to make sure that all the jerseys, all the kit had the sponsor's logo. And so just to have the bare kit without the logos would have done a disservice to the sponsors, and quite frankly, they are very important stakeholders to us, like Red Card Group.
Why is there not the opportunity, Leon, for me to buy a season ticket?
That's a good question.
Yeah, but the fans are well informed, you know, these guys.
Yeah, we're working on it. I mean, he's come up with a couple of numbers which we are looking at to see if it's feasible and also what the package would involve. But yes, that's on the cards. So season ticket holders, just look out for the signs.
Please be patient.
Okay.
Coming soon.
I noticed on your website you've got tickets as well. Is that a newly revamped website?
It is. I'm not. It's just the one which has just gone live.
It seems like it looks new. Like it's got a sparkle to it, you know. It has.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the old one. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Yes, we have a new website because we want to have total engagement. In fact, fans could technically also buy online jerseys and other merchandise. Follow the players' news. There's also going to be some podcasts as well in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
who's doing your podcast?
I think it's Red Card Group.
Oh right. Wenger, the Wenger. Will you sack Sundram if results don't go your way?
Would I sack Sundram if results don't go our way? Well, then you have to find out what the definition of results is, because for me, if a team plays very well, plays according to the national coach's agenda, and we contribute to a winning team outside of even the S League, then that's a result. Because there are seasons when it's not the coach's fault, but how the players perform. So it's not a question that I can answer as a yes or a no, frankly.
Teo Hoksang, you took over from him in November. Right. He's kind of trigger happy, is Hoksang. And recently at the press conference unveiling Jermaine Pennant, he said there's two words that you need to know. It's referee Caillou. Now, whether he's relating to, you will hear that from the stands, so here's a word that you need to know, or whether he was insinuating perhaps keep an eye on the referees because some of their work isn't good. Just for any people that don't understand what referee Caillou means, what does it mean, firstly?
A referee means an official who's officiating the game, right? Caillou means a flexible wood, is it? I mean, like not a bit flexible. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think it just means a dodgy referee.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It just means a dodgy referee.
Now, there's been I just seen a lot of complaints about that particular comment made by Hoksang, which I thought was just a joke or a throwaway comment. Any response to? Is it worth giving some airway time?
Yeah. It is worth giving some airway time. I was there at the conference, at the press conference next to him, and the context in which it was said was literally as you had said earlier. What are the two common words you'd most likely hear, and he mentioned that, and Mr. Hoksang, he likes a bit of a joke, and he certainly said it in that context, and I know he has got the utmost of respect for the men in black, and so it was never ever intended to insult them. But that all said, it was said, and the press or the media can easily spin it differently. And so I think we need to obviously respect the referees and all the volunteers and everyone who's involved in this game, and I have the utmost respect for those players and the referees as well. And we just need to adopt a policy where we respect each other. And I'm also referring here now to the fans, because the fans are also out there in the stands who are not just saying things like referee Caillou or whatever. They are talking. They are scolding vulgarities, and we've got family, kids in there. So there are other issues as well related to it. But coming back to it, my take was said in jest. I know Mr. Teo Hoksang very well. He's a very passionate man, very generous. He's a great leader, and I must say that football has come the way it has come in some way positively because of his forthrightness. Because otherwise, you'll just have a bunch of yes men who would not do the things that sometimes need to be done in football.
Yeah. You've got a lot to live up to, Krishna, in terms of chairmanship and titles won and that sort of thing. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. At least you got Jermaine Pennant to help you out, and the likes of, and the likes of. We'll get to talk more about that particular deal as well. In the meantime, intern Pratap did Krishna gave him an 8 out of 10. I'm still around the 7 out of 10 for his first update on S League News. I can feel your nervousness now, Pratap. Everything okay, bro?
Yeah, bro, it's all good.
Okay, so let's do this because obviously you're leaving us soon, so you're going to need to. What college you at?
Singapore Polytechnic.
Okay, so Singapore Polytechnic. So you can use this for your soundbite when they say, "What did you do on your summer holidays?" You can say you did this, right?
Yeah.
So I'll build it up. I'll do it properly for you. And then you can take this snippet and say, this is what I did, okay?
Okay.
So you say, thanks, Andy, and then you get on with the news, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Right, time. I understand. Right, time for your latest S League news. Let's get to the man with the very latest. The man with his head firmly where? I'm still learning how to do this. Right, time for your latest S League news. Let's get to the man with the plan. It's intern Pratap.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Time to improve on that 7 out of 10 rating. We'll start with the Young Lions. The side, still without a permanent manager, played 2 friendlies this week with mixed results. The Young Lions emphatically beat Geylang International's Prime League side 8-1 in the first friendly, which was played on the 21st of January. However, the Young Lions performed extremely poorly against Albirex Niigata as they were edged to a 1-0 loss after an early Kazuki Mine goal earlier today. Fandi Ahmad, believed to be the favourite for the head coach's role, has ruled himself out of the running for the job and has notified the FAS that he wishes to contribute to Singapore football in other ways. Next up, your side, Geylang International. The Eagles will be facing the AFC Cup champions JDT in a friendly this Tuesday at the Larkin Stadium in Malaysia. The clubs are offering a round-trip transport for just $25, nothing for you, Andy, and booking closes this Monday at 5 p.m. The side have also confirmed several more signings this week. Carlos Delgado and Anders Aplin will join Hazrin Jalani's revamped squad this week. Behind the scenes, Narong Saiket has signed on as a goalkeeper coach, while Mohammad Noor Ali is the new assistant coach. Finally, Home United. The Protectors are certainly trying their best to connect with local fans on a more personal level. Home United have organised an open training session today starting at 5:30 p.m. and a soccer clinic for youth is also a main attraction within. There is also a player meet and greet for the There's also a player meet and greet for the older fans. Back to you, Andy.
Not bad. I mean, I just wouldn't say sorry. I just carry on like it's normal. I think half the best thing about live TV is that you just carry on, right? Just mess up, carry on. If it's recorded, there's no excuse for it being spot on. But if it's live. Anyway, very good. Intern Pratap with the latest S League news there. Hey, doing some research on rubbish chairman, right, is brilliant. Because you come across, there was the 10 worst ever. I just got a couple of stories to regale. Ken Richardson of Doncaster Rovers in 1995 hired 2 local criminals, one former SAS operative, to burn down their stadium for a princely £10,000 because he wanted to raise the stadium, get the insurance, but one of the culprits left his mobile phone there, so that all went wrong. Maurizio Zamparini from Palermo, widely regarded as the most tempestuous president in Italian football, going through coaches like Tic Tacs. He provided these quotes, calling all referees to be imprisoned, threatening to cut all of his players' testicles off and eat them with his salad, calling England a land of pirates, and admitting that he fancied coach Delio Rossi more than his own wife. I'm looking for some choice quotes from you, Chris. Ken Bates said that he wanted to put electrified fences around Stamford Bridge so that it would keep the hooligans out. Greater London Council didn't accept that. Luciano Gauci of Perugia once had Colonel Gaddafi's son, Saad, on the bench before he tested positive for banned substances. And what else did he do? He tried to sign the captain of the Swedish women's team. He cancelled the imminent signing's contract over rumours he was gay, and even attempted to bribe a referee with a racehorse. So they're all mental, these chairmen. If you're starting to get the picture. Aurelio De Laurentiis of Napoli, often doing fake press conferences saying that Edison Cavani is going to Manchester City. storming out of Italian cup draws on the back of strangers' vespers after throwing a tantrum that the draw was fixed. The best one, I think, is Zvadko Mamic of Dynamo Zagreb. Over the years, he's been sanctioned for, among other discretions, groping belly dancers, punching a director of the Croatian FA, attacking a former Dynamo director, chasing him over a fence, breaking a city planning official's hand with a set of crutches for refusing his plans to build a skyscraper in Zagreb, and once celebrating a Dynamo victory with a Nazi salute. You're all mental. You're all mental. Anyway, we're with Krishna and Leon, the chairman. Just no comment. I agree. No comment to those stories. Just going through what life is like at Tampines at the moment. Let's just talk Jermaine Pennant for a short while, because he came on the show. He gave a very good account of himself. Is he likely to make the impact that you think he will, both financially and commercially and on the field? Has he shown those glimpses that you thought, hang on, yeah, this is it, this is the real deal?
No, I think a lot of prospective sponsors, I think that has raised, his signing, right, is a big boost to Singapore football scene, right? And I think the sponsors are aware of that, and they know that, this will translate into more viewership of this game this season, okay? So I think financially he is an asset to our Tampines Rovers club.
Yeah, and he's a consummate professional. You know that he's so well put together. He knows how to deal with the fans. He just recognizes all the relevant nuances that is required for a star or for a celebrity in engagement. So, which is a huge plus. When you are trying to, he's never going to be a loose cannon, and he's so.
Well, he has been.
Well, he's never going to be a loose cannon. Certainly in the way I've noticed him, and in Singapore's context.
Yes.
And I also like the fact that he's just willing to take on anything and everything. He's willing to work hard. Obviously, I had a chat with his previous employers. Spoke to the chairman of Wigan Athletic as well, who had nothing.
They wanted to sign him, right?
Yeah, they wanted to sign him as well. But I think he wanted to look at his other options, and in the end, it didn't work out when he had gone back to them. But they had nothing but praise for him. A really good guy, works very hard on the pitch, and encouraged and improved a lot of the other players around him, and was a great hit with the fans. So now, for me, that's 3 out of 3. Right. And that's exactly what we want for the club. And obviously, if we can monetize his commercial value, that'll be great. And we've structured something which makes it fair for him as well. And we are trying to be. We are trying to involve him in all our efforts in regaining our foothold in Tampines, and that also includes having him live in Tampines, because for us it's a huge statement to say that our star player is not living in Atmore Park, but
Sure. Well, I think there's a fine balance there, right? Because I kind of want those players to be untouchable, kind of. So when I see them, I'm super excited. It's a real effort to get close to these guys, so that excites me. If they're a little bit too accessible, if they're in the community centre handing out free tickets, I ain't going to do it. But having said that, there needs to be some sort of community engagement, right? So I'm guessing there's a balancing act there.
Yeah, certainly. That's a very good question. In fact, we debated that a lot. But the final analysis was the outreach programs and the engagement with the grassroots leaders, in the region. We concluded that what was more important was the fans, certainly the people out in the heartlands, were getting a front row seat effectively, and he was just not going to be an exclusive figure for certain quarters. So, final analysis, he's meant to be within Tampines constituency.
Yeah, cool. No, I've seen a few pictures with Tampines MRT behind him. No, he's a good man. Look, I think that I spoke to his agent, Sky, who you would have had a lot of talk with. The first thing Sky said to me was, still got it. He's still one of the best out there. That's what he said. And now, whether you take that with a pinch of salt or not, the other thing that he said was, this guy he's matured now. you can see that he's at a level where you've had 18 years of, not nonsense, but 18 years of that experience. Imagine being 15, 2 million quid thrown your way. Imagine the bright lights. You know, imagine, and look at his upbringing. But you see him now, and he's like, well, hang on a minute. Oh yeah, he's got children, a beautiful wife, who I believe is coming over. I don't know if she's staying here. I don't know. He just seems to be mature, grown up, and a really good guy to talk to, be around. Let's talk about your vision then, because Jermaine's part of it. You have a sort of a 5-year plan that you guys are working towards, and that includes a youth program and a youth setup, and it includes helping the national team as well.
Yeah, helping the national team, having the youth program. That's always going to be part of the philosophy, the core underlying philosophy of the club.
Why is helping the national team part of it? That doesn't seem to be the core strategy for, say, English clubs, is it?
It should be.
I guess it should be.
And that's why England hasn't won since '66.
I mean, let's not talk about that.
Yeah. But that's the reality, because if we, as it is with the amount of players that we have in the system through the NFA, it's so limited. So we effectively need to have catchment areas by way of clubs, allowing for the national coaching staff to allow all of these other catchment areas, and I mean catchment areas, the teams, the clubs that play in those leagues, to play the style of football that the national coaches would identify with, so that if they were to pick anyone out from any one of those other pools, which are not necessarily just the NFA pool, it's an easy plug and play. It's not surprising that when Italy made the World Cup finals in 2010, the bulk of the players came from one team, because they played, united football, right? I mean, they knew each other's style. So that's what I always mean by the national footballing agenda. So if the national coach comes up to us and says that, look, this is what you need to do, and this is the type of play we like to encourage, particularly now given that we have got about 12 national players, then we would do that. I mean, I can categorically state that here today, that is of a greater priority than even winning any title. So that's the core philosophy for us as a club. And then as a target, the shorter term target would certainly be the 3-year target would be the best regional club in Southeast Asia, and the 5-year target would be the best club in Asia. When I say best club, I mean in terms of branding, in terms of association with quality management, as well as footballing philosophy, which would relate to how you bring through players in the youth system and how you encourage them and develop them to go on to the next stage.
That's some vision. That's such a short time as well. I mean, just off the top of my head, you've got Bariram and JDT and Muntong. You've got some strong sides out there. Yeah? Anyway, I love it. It's good, right?
Yeah.
Just saying, if I was chairman of an SD club, I wouldn't want to be improving my national team. But I'll tell you why. If they got stronger and Singapore were performing well on the international stage, other clubs would come and pinch those players. I mean, you would, right? You just come and take them and move them overseas. So actually, that's to the detriment of my product.
Not necessarily, because I also want to create more heroes and more icons from.
That's what we need.
Yeah, we need that. I mean, part of our strategy is also to create a bus. I mean, Leon had suggested that what we needed to do was our bus would have, our team bus would have all the pictures of all the players, right? And because he felt that if the players if the public cannot relate to or do not know the faces of our players, it's harder for them to then relate to them as icons. And so that's just one step we are taking, but a lot more publicity about our players.
That's such a simple step, but I want to see your players professional. I want to see them turning up in suits.
Yeah, exactly. And you will see a different setup. You'll see a different setup to how we appear on the pitch, how we conduct our press conferences, and how they conduct themselves. Because you have got to think like a professional, think like a winner, and really up your game. And if the aspiration is to play at the highest leagues worldwide, then they've got to get their act together, and we are equipping them to do that.
Big game against Mohun Bagan. Is it a bit of a pain being in these competitions? Just thinking how expensive it is to send all that. How much does it cost to send for an away match overseas? That's a mental thing to do.
We've got to ask Desmond for the total cost.
Sure.
But to be fair, we do get some funding from the AFC as well as some subsidy from this league as well.
Hey, if JTT can win the AFC Cup, I'm not saying you're knocked out of the AFC Champions League just yet, but that's a mighty tough set of 3 fixtures you got. Anyway, regardless, if JTT can win the AFC Cup, hey, boom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that is unrealistic, to be honest, with the squad we have.
Great to have you on the show, guys. I mean, we've been on there for 2 hours now. No, we haven't. It's just 1 hour, but it does go very quick, right? And there's so much to talk about, and there's so much more passion that we could bring, and so many more questions we can ask you. Can I just keep you on for 10 more minutes?
Sure.
Okay. We get the very latest sports news then with Nicholas Lim on the way. Steve McBain as we talk Premier League to see what's coming your way tonight. Plus, we also preview tonight's AFC Under-23 Championship, which qualifies for the Olympics, of course, with Dez Corkhill. Let's get the latest sports news then with Nicholas.
Thanks, Andy. In tennis, Joanna Konta has become the first British woman to reach the 4th round of the Australian Open in 29 years after she beat Czech Denisa Elitova. Konta eased past Elitova 6-2, 6-2 to reach the last 16. Konta will face Russia's Ekaterina Makarova for a spot in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Andy Murray has also reached the last 16 of the Australian Open. The Scotsman beat Portuguese João Sousa 6-2, 3-6, 6-2, 6-2. In a bit of drama, Murray's father-in-law Nigel Sears collapsed during the match at the Rod Laver Arena. And finally, in golf, world number 1 Jordan Spieth and former top-ranked player Rory McIlroy have both struggled to impress in the second round of the Abu Dhabi Open. McIlroy failed to register a single birdie on the day, and Spieth's only notable highlight was a drive that hit a spectator, which saved him from hitting the water. England's Andy Sullivan leads the pack with McIlroy 2 shots off the pace, while Spieth lags the leaders by a whopping 7 shots.
Thanks, Nick. See, we have a new studio configuration, which means I can't see you anymore, which is half a good thing and half a bad thing. It's the Andy Pennant Show on Red Card Sports Radio. Welcome wherever you're watching on the Red Card Live app. Thanks for downloading. Give us a call. There's a call me button. You can give Krishna and Leon. They're staying for 10 more minutes as we look forward to a scintillating, I think, S-League season that's on the way. Gelang Barley and all of that. Hey, how tough is it this year, right? Everyone's gone mental signing players, man. And everyone seems to be strengthening as well. And you're taking this quite proactive, quite bullish stance that we're going to be the best club in the region in 5 years' time. You've got a bit of a hurdle to do in the interim, in the short term. Yeah, even though like Haugang, Ballistic, Warriors. I mean, DPM. I mean, they're all there. They've all strengthened. They'll all fancy their chances as well, right?
And which is what we need. Which is what we need for the league. I'm so impressed with Haugang. They've taken on quite a few players, and your favorite team as well, Gelang. Balestier will always be there, and the Warriors have also shown their interest. So I'm really excited to see the commitment by all the other clubs to want to just make it happen again and not just sit back and be part of a sideshow. And I think all of us, all the local clubs, will be giving our best to the league and making DPMM, work hard for it. And perhaps we have our ideas of our own.
You've got a Community Shield this coming up, first game of the season that doesn't involve a Singapore team. That's enough inspiration, isn't it?
That's right.
Do you guys follow any other leagues?
I personally follow the EPL. I follow the EPL. I'm a diehard Liverpool supporter.
It's your season, apparently. Oh no, that was. Oh no, it's your season. Isn't it? Oh no,
come on.
Hey, worst set. I can't. Liverpool fans for me do my head in right now. So funny you lot. Hey, sack Klopp. No, keep him. He's the best. No, sack him. He's rubbish. Get rid of him. He's the best. Leon, do you follow any?
I grew up with Ian Rush.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So just Liverpool.
Moustache. That's all I got. Ian Rush, I think moustache, right? See, we're a little bit upset on Red Card here But fair play to the organisers and everything. That a bunch of old Manchester United players versus a bunch of old Liverpool players gets 26,000 at the National Stadium, right? I don't know how I feel. I like the fact that that's been done. But where are that lot then? That obviously like to watch a football match. Where are they when it comes to local football? Where are they? And I tell you what the other thing is. Where are the Lions 12 supporters going to go? Probably because if you got a bunch of them, they're probably and they're good fans. Them
very good fans.
They travel a lot.
In fact, I think the Lions 12 fans are so good that they would make a concerted effort to spread themselves out and support all the teams in the S League. And if they do that, I'll be really happy, because they should not just congregate towards a few teams that have most of the players. But they should just spread themselves out and really support local S League football.
It's nice to see. I mean, on my Facebook page, it's just good to see some banter. After Ferida asked the question about the stall selling the tickets, there's just some banter like, well, you guys can't even get 50 fans for your friendly and all this sort of thing. The band's coming. Just hope it continues. I mean, look, obviously Red Card is throwing its support behind it because we have Sasi Kumar at helming the whole operation. We find that we get a lot more engagement when we talk about S League as opposed to Barclays Premier League. So kind of pumped for it. Having said that, people are the public perception is still S League. Taxi drivers, right? That sort of not those sort of people. I don't mean that, but
no. But if you go back to what Leon had said earlier, the original premise for how football clubs were developed, certainly in places like England, they were developed for the people. As clubs, they run the Constitution very clearly states that it's not really meant for profit. And if we can try and get that back and go back to the value of entertaining the people, right? It's a form of entertainment, and for them to be connected, because all they lose themselves for those 2 hours. Everyone is united. You can be of any race. You're supporting one team. You're united. And I think even the government can take a leaf out of this book, because it's a great way to rally the support in any constituency, get the electorate going, and to get a community spirit going as well. So I hope we all look upon it as a multi-sector approach, meaning not just the sports sector, but the government sector, the commercial sector, in embracing S League and football, because all the other countries do it, quite frankly, and Singapore should not drop the ball, so to speak.
Presidential election coming up soon for the FAS. Well, don't look at that. I'm just going to leave that open there. So why don't you stand for that then? I'm really committed to Tampines Rovers. I think I've got my job to do at Tampines Rovers. I must confess, this is not the first time I've been asked about that job at FAS. But I've a lot to learn, and I think there's some good guys in the wings at the FAS. I would be happy to help out someone there, maybe as a VP or a council member. But I think there's a lot that I can do as a club chairman, because then I owe no one an explanation, so to speak, and I don't have to toe a certain line. I think there's a value in that. There's a value in being able to be highly innovative and not have to look around your shoulder and figure if you're going to be, thrown the book at. So I think a combination of that would work. I do agree that I could bring a new spin and a new direction, but perhaps deputizing with someone else. What's the best thing? What's the worst thing about working with Krishna, Leon?
I've known this guy for about 20 years.
So long, right?
Yeah, so long.
Does he not just tire you out?
And I see him more than I see my wife.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Your bio. I just have to read your bio out, by the way, Krishna, because I don't understand what I'm saying when I say it. Right. So you're the managing director of Dwayne Morrison Selvin LP in Singapore and the Selvin and Partners LLC in Myanmar. The head of corporate finance and investment and private client practice groups. His practice expertise includes M&A and capital markets, investment funds, private equity and telecommunications, media and technology. Krishna also has significant experience in Myanmar-related matters, working with government and business leaders in Yangon. Widely regarded as the most highly recommended lawyers in the practice areas of capital markets and corporate finance by the Asia Pacific Legal 500 and Chambers and Partners Asia Pacific and Chambers and Partner Global, which regularly refer to his, and I quote, creative yet practical and client-focused approach. I don't even know what I've said. IFLR 1000 recognises him as the leading lawyer in capital markets in Singapore. That's pretty cool, eh? Is that why you guys have got the Ferraris outside? Right?
That's just a weakness for cars, that's all.
Yeah. Hey, Jermaine's got one. I noticed you didn't quite give him the Ferrari then, is there? Right? He loves a fast car, right?
Yes, the Veloster's fast.
Oh, of course it is, yeah. That's turbo, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is lightly turbo, yeah.
Slightly turbo.
Lightly, yeah. Lightly turbo, yeah.
Okay, look, guys, thanks for coming on the show. Can you just leave us with two things?
Okay.
I haven't asked you yet for a Teok Seng story. Because you must have, pretending this is an after-dinner speech, and we've all paid $100 to have the dinner and to be regaled by your story about Teok Seng. What would be the last story of the night that you would tell everybody, just to show his eccentricness or his passion or his?
I would say that not everyone sees the gentler side of him, the generous side of him, and I've learned a lot of leadership style from him, and I'm grateful for that, because just by observing how he conducts himself, and I also
very hands-on, you mean?
Yeah, he's very hands-on, and he has a very loyal following, because he allows me to attend most of his company dinners. And so I see that behind the scenes. So I have a lot of respect for that man, and he's a maverick in that sense in the footballing circle, and hence also a great leader. So he reminds me a bit like Eric Cantona, right? A brilliant leader, and with that brilliant leadership, sometimes you get some volatility, but I love him for the fact that he's just so brilliant and generous about his time and guiding people. And two words I could say is referee bagus.
He seems like a very genuine man. He's got time for everybody, and I think the game's going to miss him, right? Although he'll still be around.
He's still around, yeah.
And then just one last thing. Can you give people that might be tuning in who haven't been to an S League game for a while, can you just give them a reason this year to go? Can you give them a reason this year to show some passion? Can you give them a reason this year to spend some money with you and to enjoy the product? I'm hoping that you can give us a good product, by the way. The onus is very much on you, right, and the players to step up and give us something good, and the matchday experience where I can have my beer at half time and my curry puff at half time, right, and be entertained at half time, and that whole thing. So I want to go, and coaches being put on, right, because I want to be taken care of and entertain us, right? So do that job. But is there a message that you would like to tell the fans as a reason for coming this year?
I would say, if you haven't been to an S League match at all, or haven't been for one in recent times, come along, because it's a unique experience, because these stadiums are built in such a way that you are pretty upfront and close to the action. And it's so different in watching a match live than on screen, because you can observe all parts of the play. And also if you are a parent or a coach and you have got kids whom you are teaching football, bring them along, because it's a great perspective for them to have in terms of the formation of the play and the reset of the play. and it's a unique experience.
It is, and as a fan going to a match, I always love going because I can have a direct outcome on the game, or at least I think I can. Every time Pennant's going to get the ball for you lot, I'm telling him how rubbish he is, right? I'm telling him every time he gives it away, I'll be applauding him. You directly affect, because you're so close, the mentality of the players, and they will hear you, right?
Yeah, he'll hear you.
There is that experience.
Yeah.
Even when he kept losing the ball the other day, the Hwee fans were like, "Welcome to Singapore." Welcome, love it. All right, best luck with the project, guys. Hope it goes really well for Singapore's sake. Hope it goes not so well for Gaylang's sake.
Yes.
Right. Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Krishna and Leon on the Andy Penders show. Many thanks for your questions, by the way. That was awesome stuff. Let's get the very latest. Nick, what are we doing now? Latest sports news or
transfer rumours? Actually,
transfer,
big one involving Manchester United.
Because the transfer window it doesn't even exist at the moment. It's just a gaping hole where the window was. That's how open it is right now. Let's get the latest transfer news with Nicholas Lim.
Well, Manchester United have made an offer to sign Barcelona star Neymar. Spanish media claim the Red Devils are desperate to land the striker and are willing to break all transfer and wage records in order to beat Manchester City to the Brazilian signature. As if that doesn't already reek of desperation, United are also holding talks to sign 18-year-old midfielder Renato Sanchez from Benfica in a deal reportedly worth £60 million. Elsewhere, Chelsea are seemingly close to selling midfielder Ramirez. The likes of Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich are apparently interested in the Brazilian. Meanwhile, the Blues could give up on chasing Everton's John Stones and focus their attention on PSG's Thiago Silva. Perhaps a swap deal is on the cards. And finally, Southampton manager Ronald Koeman is seemingly eyeing the job at Chelsea. Speaking to Dutch radio, Koeman indicated he wants to achieve at the highest level and also said if fellow Dutchman and Chelsea boss Guus Hiddink puts in a good word, it would be a big influence.
It's a red card, and he should get 2 red cards. That's got the red card out.
Red Card Sports Radio, the best sports station in Asia.
Coming soon on Barclays Premier League Live. Sunderland versus Manchester City from the Stadium of Light.
Lovely ball is Van Aanholt, tight angle, and what a lovely goal that is from Sunderland. A smash and grab, and Patrick Van Aanholt has squeezed the ball in.
Here comes Delph from distance, goes for goal from distance as well. Oh, what a strike! Fabian Delph. Manchester City lead with one of their first real attacks of the game, and it's a strike from nearly 30 yards.
Watford versus Chelsea from Vicarage Road.
And Watson drives it in, near post, it's in! Watford take the lead, and Ben Watson's corner has caught out England's Joe Hart.
Zuma gets it up in the air, Ivanovic picks it off, chance for John Terry! John Terry for Chelsea in the 8th minute of added time! His first goal of the season! And John Terry has saved Chelsea a point. Who else?
Manchester City versus Leicester City from the Etihad Stadium.
De Bruyne made it something. Crosses back in towards Sterling, who heads home. Manchester City get the breakthrough they want. Raheem Sterling with the goal. It's an outswinger. It's a solid header into the net. Robert Huth for Leicester City. And finally, a set piece has borne fruit. The corner by Fuchs, out swinging and long, and Robert Huth met it with a thumping header.
Liverpool versus Sunderland from Anfield.
In towards Benteke, it's going to come down. Liverpool the level. It's Joe Allen. The substitute has done it. Joe Allen has earned Liverpool a point surely in one of the games of the Barclays Premier League season.
Arnold's in the penalty area. Can he finish it here? And he plays it across. And Jermaine completes his hat-trick. He is the star man once again.
Bournemouth versus Arsenal from the Vitality Stadium.
Here comes Charlie Daniels down the left-hand side. Daniels, Afobe! It just had to be! Benik Afobe, instant deed court hero, breaks his Barclays Premier League deadlock. Gossett goes towards Giroud, header one by Dummett up in the air. Giroud's going to win the second ball. It's towards Koscielny, who pokes it home for Arsenal. And it is Laurent Koscielny who breaks the deadlock.
Chelsea versus Manchester United from Stamford Bridge.
Here's William. Good cross from the right-hand side, and it's a goal out of nothing. A goal for the replacement. It's Kennedy, the Brazilian, who's got it. His first Premier League goal of the season.
Memphis here for United. Shot block. Rooney! Wayne Rooney is back with a hellacious bang from the edge of the area. Goal Manchester United.
That's all coming up soon on Barclays Premier League Live from Talk Sport.
You're with Andy Penders on Red Card Sports Radio.
Yeah, Saturday night, everyone. Thanks for your company. It's the Andy Pennant Show on Red Card Sports Live on the app. I forgot to ask them to sign the ball, didn't I? Nick. I just had Krishna and Leon on the show. Good fun. I hope I asked the right questions. In the meantime, just a reminder of how you can win yourself a brand new Samsung phone. It's the Big Red Card Sports Radio Football Challenge brought to you by Samsung Sports Flow. All you have to do is give us your best football chant. And we've had a few so far, right? All you have to do is go to the Samsung Sports Flow app, go to our channel. Red Card's a wonderful little channel there, all the latest sports headlines and that sort of thing. And give us your best football chant. That ends at the end of this month. All the entries will be considered. We'll give away top of the range Samsung phone. Okay, that's what we're doing. Next month, we're thinking the challenge would be to tell us your best time with a footballer or the most famous footballer that you've ever met, okay? So, yeah, the Big Red Card Sports Radio Football Challenge. I love it because it's the longest competition name I can think of. Brought to you by Samsung Sports Flow. Get yourself involved. We're giving away stuff. We're giving away stuff, man. How cool's that? Really cool is the answer. Right, intern Pratap has been doing steady, I'd say. He's brought to you S-League news at half past the hour. It's now 7:20. I think he's ready for his third and final instalment. Let's get to intern Pratap with the latest S-League news.
Okay, thanks Andy. We'll start with Hougang United. The Cheetahs faced off against Thai side Air Force Central FC in a friendly at the Ratchakram Sports Club last Thursday, but unfortunately lost 3-1 with Iqbal Hussein scoring the solitary goal for Hougang United. Next up, Tampines Rovers. Tampines beat a resilient JDT2 1-0 at the Jalan Besar Stadium last Wednesday. Jermaine Pennant provided a delightful assist for Jordan Webb in the 80th minute, quashing all doubts about him struggling to acclimatise to Singapore's weather. The Stags will begin their 2016 AFC Champions League campaign in Kolkata on Wednesday, January 27. Sundram's men will depart on Monday, January 25th at 7 p.m. on board flight SQ 516 at Terminal 2 at Changi Airport. Rumours suggest Sundram is looking for a foreign target man to beef up his attacking force, and former St Mirren striker Billy Mehmet's name has constantly been mentioned. The 1.89 meter forward would certainly provide some much needed physicality to the Stags' front line. And finally, the Warriors. The Warriors kicked off against Warwick Knights at Jalan Besar Stadium at 5 p.m. earlier today. The game hasn't ended yet, but we'll try to get the latest updates in as soon as possible. Thanks, Andy. That's the latest S-League news for the week.
Thanks, Hey, Pratap, we had the exclusive already. Billy's signing. Krishna told us, man.
Yeah, man. That's just great research on my part, I think.
No, well, it's even better research. The fact that I asked him, is he signing? And he said yes.
No, but we didn't know he was going to tell us about those transfer rumours.
Oh, okay. Hey, not bad, bro. Not bad.
Thanks so much, man. I'll do another one next week. It'll be improved.
Yeah, maybe, but we'll see. Intern Pratap with the latest S-League news there. Still plenty more to come on the Andy Penders show, including a preview of tonight's AFC Under-23 quarterfinals. We'll get to Dez Corkhill in just a moment. In the meantime, let's introduce a man who's still regularly contributing on Red Card Sports Radio, but we haven't seen him for a while. That's because he's been sunning himself here and islands there, sports matches, sports games here and there, and just generally leading the high life. It's Steve McBain.
How are you, mate? Good to be back.
Mate, since you've gone, the whole world's kicked off here. Jermaine Pennant signing.
Oh no, mate. It's actually great news for the division. To actually get a real proper big name. Like
proper
that.
Big name.
Yeah, it is. I mean, not someone who's completely past it either. I mean, the guy's he's still got a lot to offer. I think he gets himself properly match fit and acclimatised. I mean, he's a proper player.
Talking of people that aren't past their prime and are proper, it's Dez Corkhill. Hi, Dez.
Hello, Mr. Penders. Nice little link. I saw what you did there.
See what I did? I've made 16 years. I made a living doing that. Sometimes it pays well, sometimes not at all. You know how it is. Hey, the AFC Under-23 Championship has gone a bit under the radar in Singapore, partly because Singapore were a little bit rubbish and didn't qualify for it. But it's been a competition, I think, that's provided a lot of entertainment.
They always do these age competitions, and you can pick out one or two little gems for the future. As usual, I think it's going to be the big boys, Korea and Japan, who eventually make their way through to Olympic qualification. It's a 16-team tournament. We're split into 4 groups of 4. The top 3 go to the quarterfinals. We're at the quarterfinal stage now. Only the top 3, though, make it to Rio for 2016. And Japan and Korea, well, they both made it to the medal matches in 2012 in London. So they've got something to work towards. And they're looking strong as well this year. It's who will join them is the fascinating one.
Yeah. Tonight, 2 games: South Korea against Jordan and UAE against Iraq. Just mention, you say it's the top 3 go to Rio. How cool is that 3rd and 4th place playoff going to be then?
How cool is? Sorry, I missed that.
The 3rd and 4th place playoff.
Oh, it's going to be cracker. It's a proper final. It'll be tense. It'll be intense. Particularly as Qatar might be one of the teams playing there, and you don't normally associate football and passion with Qatar, but they've been very clever. They played their home games at the Al Sadd Stadium with a 10,000 capacity, and they filled it to the brim each time, and so it's been pretty rumbustious when Qatar have been playing. I'm making predictions there that Qatar will win the quarterfinal but lose in the semis, but that's kind of how I'm seeing it going, and it could be quite an occasion.
You're commentating on South Korea against Jordan tonight?
I am indeed. It's always good fun. We're not live at the venue, I'm afraid to say. It'd be nice to be in Qatar because the venue I've got is the corniche is a backdrop and the weather's a lovely balmy 22, 23 degrees.
Perfect weather for a World Cup, Des.
It's perfect weather for a World Cup. Absolutely perfect. Whatever the shenanigans are going on, the fact is Qatar will put on a show. The weather conditions will be absolutely superb at that time of year, and it will be a show.
It will be. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting some work around it. I'll give you the tip.
I thought you were going to go into a big one about how it shouldn't be there and how shocking it is.
No, I think football in that region has shown levels of passion and investment and everything needed to make it a rocking success. Look at the plans that these Middle Eastern countries are putting together and the players that they're producing, and then you even compare that to what the Vietnam and Thailand and help their performances in the competition. I think it's been brilliant. Well,
I'm glad you're saying that because I'm one of the few who actually endorses what goes on in the Middle East. I've seen Dubai and the United Arab Emirates use sport as a vehicle to improve its reputation around the world, to make sure people know about it, that it's not just an oil-producing company. It never was a massive oil-producing company, Dubai, anyway. And now you're seeing Qatar trying to do the same, and yes, there are things going on there which many people in the West would not like to see, which nobody would like to see. But the fact they're putting such a high-profile competition on is exposing them to the kind of criticism that might well improve things.
Best luck with your commentary tonight, Des. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to you coming on the show tomorrow. What should we talk about?
We can talk about everything. I'd like to talk on the local scene because the Malaysia football scene is gearing up to a good kick-off. There have been a lot of big money moves going on in Malaysia. I know it doesn't involve the Lions 12. Most of the Lions 12 playing for Tampines this year. So I'd like to maybe talk about the S-League and Tampines and what's been happening other than Jermaine Pennant, because a lot has been happening in the S-League other than Jermaine Pennant.
Yeah, I agree. We just had Krishna and Leon, the chairman and vice chairman of Tampines, on the show. So, yeah, we indulged a bit on Tampines, but you can forgive us for that. All right, Des, good to speak to you.
Once you're finished, you can log on to Fox Sport 2 and you can see how South Korea gets on tonight. They're playing Jordan.
You can see how you do some proper football commentary. Hey, how about Liverpool against Norwich tonight, bro?
A tough one for Liverpool. Of course, it's tough for Liverpool because you don't know which Jekyll or Hyde will turn up. Should be, in theory, a match that they might be able to win because Norwich tend to be a little bit more progressive going forward. Liverpool tend to be better against teams who come onto them. But I've given up making predictions about Liverpool about 10 years ago.
That's okay. We just faded you off there anyway. No one cares. All right, bro. Nice to speak to you.
I'll say hello all to the chaps and keep up the good work, Mr. Penders. It's a fabulous show that you're doing.
That's good. That's a very, very coming from you, Des, who used to be my boss at ESPN. It's awesome. It's touched me in a way that you could never know, Des. Dez Corkhill there. Don't know what he does now. Commentates. Good commentator. Sorry, Steve McBain's in the house. Hey, Steve, can I just read something to you that's going to make you laugh? Because it's made me laugh.
Go on.
Reading the Daily Mirror today. Ronald Koeman has revealed he wants countryman Gus Hiddink to back him to be the next Chelsea manager, according to the Daily Mirror. Southampton's Dutch manager says he is ambitious to work at a big foreign club and says, if Good puts in a good word for me, then that would be a big influence.
That was a great Steve McLaren.
I don't know what that was. Compatriot Hiddink is in his second spell, blah, blah, blah. He remains keen, this is Koeman, to return to the top of the game and told Dutch radio, it's certainly something I've always had at the back of my mind. I always want to achieve the highest possible level. This has happened in Holland, and that's what I would like to achieve abroad. So, what do you reckon of that then?
Well, I mean, Chelsea will not possibly have the pick of the managers that they maybe expect to. I mean, I don't think it's a job that a lot of people want right now. I mean, there's a big rebuilding process. It's probably second only to Real Madrid in terms of your chances of getting sacked. I also heard that the top of their Christmas list is the Juventus boss. But, if you're managing Juventus, I don't necessarily see, other than money, why you'd want to come to Chelsea. Koeman, look, I think he's done a steady job at Southampton.
Right. He's all right.
But, if you want to get back to winning the league, Champions League and things, I'm not sure. The guy I wouldn't mind giving a guide, if you were going to give someone a run from the Premiership, is Mark Hughes. The reason being, I think that Hughes is a really, really good manager. I think he's made some terrible career choices. I think he was a bit unlucky with his time in City, but the whole thing with Fulham and then quitting and then QPR. So I think he gets some bad advice somewhere along the line. But I actually think he's a good manager, and I think it'd be nice to see a British manager get it. I mean, not for any other reasons than on merit. But he's someone I wouldn't mind, having a run at. But
what was there on the bridge like then when you were there?
It was. I mean, it's okay. I mean, Stamford Bridge is not, really the place that's really going to get bouncing and the whole thing. But the fans are trying to get behind them. The Watford game was fantastic for entertainment, and if Oscar had slotted in the penalty, that would have been good. But I'll tell you what, I was very lucky. Got taken to Sellers Park, and saw Chelsea win there. Now I tell you what, that's a football stadium. Absolutely brilliant fun. I'd only been there once before, which was the famous Cantona match.
Oh, you were there for
that? Yeah, I was there for that. But you can you sort of walk straight up to you can get right up to the ground, get dropped off. I met my mate who's a season ticket holder in the main stand. You can have a beer in a bar underneath the stand. You can get served the whole thing, and then you just walk straight up to your seat. Fantastic atmosphere, great,
super
great
noisy.
Stadium. Yeah, the whole stadium's bouncing. Even though they were getting, they got well beaten in the end. Great home support, great day out. I mean, and really put Stamford Bridge to shame.
Big game against Arsenal for Chelsea this coming Sunday. Let's get the very latest from Rob Eddy.
The biggest Premier League game of this round of matches is the last game of the weekend as London rivals Arsenal and Chelsea clash at the Emirates. The Gunners will look to maintain their title bid while the defending champions are still looking over their shoulder at the bottom three. We would normally be talking of the rivalry between Arsene Wenger and Jose Mourinho heading into this fixture, but there is a more serene nature to the relationship between Wenger and Gus Hiddink. Despite Chelsea's poor form this term, Wenger is still aware this is another test of his team's title credentials.
Yes, it's another game where people look at us and see how we behave. Because even if Chelsea is not in the best position, you know that you look at their squad. It's a big game because of the quality of the players on the pitch, and it has a big importance to us as well because we have we play at the Emirates and we know how important it will be to win these games. Oh, it will be an intense game with, as usual, what you get in Premier League, but overall I think because of the quality of the players on the pitch, because of what is at stake for both teams, it should be a very intense battle, no matter who sits on the bench.
The Gunners have been handed a massive double boost on the injury front, with both Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez ready to return to the squad. Although Francis Coquelin is getting close to full fitness, Sunday's game will come too soon for the Frenchman, while recent signing Mohamed El Neni is pushing for his debut. Meanwhile, Chelsea go into the match still unbeaten under Gus Hiddink, a 7-match run, although they have been held at home in their last 2 matches against West Brom and Everton. But Hiddink is aware that Sunday's game is likely to pose the biggest test yet under his tenure.
Everyone knew where we were in December. So far we are unbeaten on one hand. On the other hand, we cannot be I'm not fully satisfied with all the results. Being unbeaten means we have to make the next step and not to drop back in inconsistency. One day good or half a game good, and the other day less consistent. That's where we have to work at. But I see the players working already many days with a lot of ambition, which is rather normal, but also with confidence. So we hope, and I think we will see another very attractive game on Sunday.
Eden Hazard has been back in training this week and is in contention to feature following a recent groin problem. Although Diego Costa picked up a shin injury in the 3-3 draw with Everton, the Spanish international is expected to start at the Emirates. The head-to-head stats certainly favoured Chelsea, with the Blues unbeaten in 8 league meetings and won the reverse fixture 2-0 back in September, when Arsenal had 2 men sent off. Arsenal, though, are unbeaten in 9 Premier League games at the Emirates and have conceded just 4 goals during that run.
Rob Eddy, it's a massive for me. If you're an Arsenal fan, this is massive, and there's a very good reason for that. Hey, joining us on the line is Eric, who's an Arsenal fan. Hi, Eric.
Hey, hello.
Look, it's massive in the sense that, you know, Arsene Wenger up against Jose Mourinho, and he's called him all these names, right? He must have a lot of satisfaction knowing that not only has he outlasted the Portuguese once, but he's done it twice.
Sorry?
Well, he's outlasted Mourinho twice now.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the back of him, you know. He's just an obnoxious, character. And, I'm glad he's out of Chelsea. And, like you said, it's a massive game for us. You know, 16 games to go. You know, every game really counts, all the way. And I can't wait to, it's about time we put one over Chelsea, and to make up for what happened at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, you haven't beaten them in your last 8 Premier League meetings, although you're unbeaten in 9 Premier League games at the Emirates Stadium at the moment. Steve McBain is a Chelsea fan. He joins us in the studio today. What's your take, Steve?
Eric, you'd make Arsenal, on paper, big favourites for this game. One of the things that, I'd like to ask is that I think for the rest of the league, the aura of both, Manchester United and Chelsea this season has gone. People are, going to their stadiums, trying to win games. But even when Chelsea were on, a terrible run earlier this season, they still managed to beat Arsenal 2-0. Do you think that, this Arsenal team now is finally psychologically ready? Wenger was already out, talking about Diego Costa this week rather than concentrating on how good Arsenal are. Psychologically, are Arsenal ready to win this game and then to go on and win the league?
Yeah, definitely. I think whatever said and done, that game at Stamford Bridge, you have to put a caveat to it. That incident with Diego Costa should have reduced Chelsea to 10 men and us with a man advantage. But, as it happens, we went down to 10 men and Diego Costa stayed on the pitch. And, we played with a man short for the entire half. And Chelsea, they still have quality players, So, I think we can't read too much into that result or that performance.
But it's Eric, I was just meaning more the sort of the psychology of Arsenal. I remember going back to a game that Chelsea won probably 7-8 years ago. They won 2-0 at the Emirates. And Didier Drogba scored 2 goals. And Arsene Wenger said, Didier Drogba, apart from scoring 2 goals, did absolutely nothing. There's just this there's always this sort of hard luck story, or there's a reason why things didn't happen. Do you really think that Arsenal this time can step up and really put in a commanding performance and lay all these ghosts to rest?
I definitely think so. For me, if you look back to the first 8 years of Arsene Wenger's time with us, we were unbeaten against Chelsea all the way to 2005. So it's not like we never had a history of having a good record against Chelsea, and you know, so but you're right, you know, last few seasons we beaten them a couple of times at the Emirates as well as Stamford Bridge twice in the last 5 years.
Oh, I mean, I remember, mate, I've been at Stamford Bridge many times on the receiving end from us. I remember Kanu scoring a wonderful hat-trick. It was that one that he bent in from right beside the touchline.
Well, we beat them 5-3 and 2-1.
So don't worry, mate, I've done my penance as well, mate.
So this is going to be a bore.
But I think psychologically, in the past year, we've shown against the big teams, home and away, that, you know, we are not as brittle as before. You know, in the past, you know, like what happened at Anfield last week. You know, if you go a goal down, two goals down, sometimes in the Arsenal of maybe 2 years ago, we may have probably have lost the game. But we show good spirit, you know, and never giving up, even on days where we are not at our best.
What was the score at St Mary's? What was the score at St Mary's, Eric?
Sorry?
What was the score at St Mary's this year? A few weeks ago?
At St Mary's?
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of forgot.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, have some of that.
What?
Have some of that, Brittle Gunners fans.
I think that game was a good reminder of for us that, you know, that a slip up may be just around the corner if you're not careful. I think that is a good wake up call at a good time in the season, and I'd rather drop points to Southampton than the likes of Man City, Spurs, Man U, Chelsea.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's in most of we sell you all of our best players. I think it's in their contracts that you have to be nice to us every now and again. Hey, this game's going to be dull, by the way. 3 of the last 4 Premier League meetings at the Emirates have ended goalless. The other game was a 2-1 Chelsea win. This is going to be just like Liverpool, Manchester United, because they always are dull.
I'll take a down 1-0 win anytime, man. Give me 16
as will I.
Wins all the way to the end of season. I'll sign up for it.
Where are you watching the game, Eric?
Tomorrow night, I'm actually going to stay home for a change, actually.
Yeah. Mix it up a bit.
Stay home. Yeah, I'm going to watch at home, right in front of the TV. Going to be, you know.
All right, Eric, good to talk to you.
Hugging my cushions and really tense.
That's right. Good to talk to you, bro. So Chelsea then. Hey, have you chosen your S League side yet?
Have I chosen my S League side yet? I haven't actually.
Well, I'd say what are you doing Tuesday?
I'm doing Tuesday.
Tuesday at 4:30. I'm serious, right? I'm serious. Come with me. There's a $25 coach. We leave from Bedok Stadium. We go to the Larkin Stadium in Malaysia, home of the AFC champions, JDT. We watch the game. Maybe number of people down there. Be quite a vociferous atmosphere, I'm tipping. Like it'd be proper football match. Mm-hmm. Proper.
Like Crystal Palace?
Yeah, well, I think it would be, it's a good stadium, right? I think it'd be fun. It's my first sort of S League trip away. Can you come with me, though?
Let me check with the boss.
Okay, check with the boss. Let him go down below, bro.
Oh, no. I can't support teams in green, though.
Yeah, that was my issue, but there you go. Well, then, I don't know what colours everyone is. See? So, all right, anyway, you need to choose your side.
I'll do some homework.
In fact, if you go onto Red Card Sports Radio, we've got this animated GIF that you can just click on, stop it, and it'll give you your team for the season.
Oh, really?
Don't think there's any team in Booker T Road, so I don't think there's one. Wasn't there one to...
Well, actually, because I used to live up quite close to Tampines Rovers.
Oh, they're quite good this season, aren't they? Yeah. Glory, that's why he's a Chelsea fan, mate. Just glory hunting. Right, so let's get a prediction for that game. Then Arsenal against Chelsea. That's tomorrow night. Live coverage on Red Card Sports Radio.
I do fancy Arsenal this time around. I mean, Chelsea.
It's just typical.
No, they're just
tipping yourself up against.
They're just poor. I mean, they really are.
Were they that bad when you watched them, though?
Mate, there's no confidence. I mean, against Palace, they could have been 2-0 down after 20 odd minutes. All the papers were saying how well they played, but I mean, Palace were terrible.
What was your best song that you sang on that?
Oh, mate, I was sitting with Palace fans in the main stand, mate. I kept absolutely quiet as a mouse. Yeah.
Did they score?
No, it's 3-0 Chelsea. But
because if you're sitting in the home end and they score, you've got to go up, haven't you? You've got to go up and just applaud or something. You can't just sit there and shake your head.
I sort of sat with my hands and the whole thing. So.
Did you? That must have been a nightmare for
even
you.
Even the Chelsea away fans weren't particularly
What?
noisy.
Normally they're excellent. You're only here to see the Chelsea.
I mean, normally away fans of any persuasion are, that's the hardcore. Even, it was a miserable day though. It rained so hard. It was.
That sounds nasty. The early game tonight, kick-off in 1 hour's time. Live coverage on Red Card Sports Radio. Happens to be at Norwich. They take on a Liverpool side who... I don't really know what to say about them. Norwich, a Norwich side rather, who have made some very shrewd signings in the January transfer window. Let's get a match preview from Warren Ashurst.
Well, Norwich go in search of a victory that would give their survival bid a big boost when they entertain Liverpool in Saturday's early Premier League kick-off. The Canaries have lost their last 3 games in all competitions, including a heavy league defeat at Bournemouth last Saturday. That run has seen them slip to 2 places and 2 points outside the relegation zone, but they have since moved to bolster their squad in the January transfer window. Striker Stephen Naismith and defender Tim Closer have signed from Everton and Wolfsburg respectively, and Alex Neil says they will both be considered for Saturday's clash.
Stephen's not been playing of late, however, obviously he's played Premier League for quite a while now, and he's been training with a Premier League team as well. There's been no sort of mid-season break, which has been the case with Tim, and he's fully up to speed with the Premier League, so he won't be a concern, so he can straight into consideration. Tim has had a good sort of couple of weeks with Wolfsburg in terms of getting some work done with them, so fitness wise he's fine. Just need to take into account the fact that he's never actually been involved in a Premier League game, and he's only actually trained 2 days with the squad, so that's something that will certainly come into my thinking when I'm picking the team.
The Canaries will once again be without the suspended Gary O'Neill, while on loan Andre Wisdom is unable to feature against his parent club. Another of Norwich's recent signings, Ivo Pinto, is pushing for a starting berth after a full week of training. As for Liverpool, well, they come into this match having won just 1 of their last 4 Premier League away games. Defeat to Manchester United at Anfield last Sunday has seen the Reds slip to 9th in the table and some 8 points outside the top 4. Goals have been a major issue in recent weeks, but Jurgen Klopp trusts his players to turn things around in the attacking third.
You need to have more open view, even in a situation when you're around the box in the last third, and it's better to shoot than not to shoot, that's for sure. To try than not to try, but at the end you have to go through in a moment when you don't score goals like this. You have to first of all you have to defend very, very disciplined, because it's not, if you concede 2 goals, it's not too easy to score 3. That's it. And then if you stay concentrated and if you stay disciplined, then you will find a moment when you have quality, what we obviously have, and you find the moment when it gets easier.
Well, Adam Lallana will have a late fitness test on a muscle injury, but Klopp has confirmed that Daniel Sturridge is not yet ready to return to the squad. Defender John Flanagan is pushing for a start, though, after featuring as a substitute in the midweek FA Cup win over Exeter, following 18 months on the sidelines. The 2 teams drew 1-1 at Anfield in September, but as the Reds that have the upper hand in recent seasons, Liverpool had won the previous 5 meetings, including 3 victories at Carrow Road.
Thanks very much to Warren Ashurst for his preview there of Norwich against Liverpool. This game, traditionally, the Luis Suarez testimonial game. On the line is Cheryl, who's a Liverpool fan. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, man.
I'm good, thanks, buddy. What's it like being a Liverpool fan generally?
Now, or yeah, it's been a rough patch for us, but I just came back from Anfield, and I caught up with I caught the Arsenal game. It was a good thriller, a good game. It's 3-3. I was at the Cop end, so I think winning or losing now it's not a problem. You keep supporting the club.
Give us a flavour, Shari, of what that was like in the Cop.
Oh my goodness!
Go on, tell us.
As a friend from Singapore, the culture is different there back there. Where you keep singing and singing to support the team. It was like it gives me goosebumps for 90 minutes, man. And I was standing all the way, and it was a very good experience for me.
How noisy was it?
It was damn noisy. I didn't expect it to be that damn noisy, because when we are in Singapore, when you watch TV and you can listen to the fans singing that loud, and when you're there live, it's totally a different thing.
Did you understand the Scouse accent?
I'm a little bit, I really don't understand what Jamie Carragher talking all about on TV.
Nor do we, bro. It's okay.
But
that moment, I talked to one Scouser. It's quite hard to understand what he's trying to say, but I managed to understand a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're funny people, aren't they? The Liverpudlians. I mean, they're humorously funny. They're
yeah, very funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what songs did you sing?
Oh, a lot of songs. Round the Fields of Enfield Road, You'll Never Walk Alone.
What was that like? Just before at the end of the game, and then just before the game, did you join in?
Of course. Yeah. I waited for the moment. Yeah, when the players came out to the field, they were singing "You Will Never Walk Alone" song, and I literally cried. Like
no,
it's meant to be one of the
goodness.
boxes to tick.
And I feel the atmosphere. I soak in the atmosphere. You'll Never Walk Alone song. Wow, that's damn amazing, man.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I can't think if I've been to. I think I must have been to a little. Yeah, it's quite.
Yeah.
As long as you still got your wallet at the end of the game as well.
Yeah. Did you have anything stolen from you?
Yeah, but it'll be great if I'll get one more experience, the European nights. I'm looking forward to that.
Don't look forward to that too much, son.
Yeah, maybe next year. Yeah.
Oh dear. Hey, Jurgen Klopp, right? He's had 15 games in charge of as Liverpool manager now.
Yeah.
How many? He's got exactly the same amount of points as Brendan Rodgers had after his first 15 games. So that's worked out well, hasn't it?
Yeah, but if you see the whole team, it's Brendan Rodgers' team. You see, so maybe we'll give Klopp a little bit of time to get his players in. Yeah, then we can judge him.
Okay. How long's that then?
Yeah.
Until the end of the month. See who's going to bring in.
True. Yeah.
But you should win this game, right? I mean, normally you're quite good away from home. Just when you're under the cosh.
The thing is, against Norwich, it's always been the Suarez game.
Yeah.
But this time around, Benteke is not playing today. No one's up front. Maybe Klopp is there just to soak the game and do the counter-attack and score a goal.
Is Benteke just not being selected again?
Yeah, he's on the bench today.
I mean, one of the things I find really surprising here, I mean, you hear about what a great manager Klopp is, yet he can't seem to work Benteke into his system. I mean, Liverpool, just one of the stats here, they've got the second lowest proportion of shots to goals this season. Norwich have conceded more goals from crosses this season than anyone.
That's the thing about...
I've got this guy who scores goals, so it's all he does. I mean, surely they must find a way to make that work with Firmino, big guy, little guy. I mean, if he's as good a manager as he is, and you're not scoring goals, well, I'd be playing Benteke.
Yeah, but the thing about we have no wingers now. Like Jordan Ibe, he can dribble, but he can't cross. Like Lallana, he can dribble, but he can't cross. So our wingers are not that productive now. So the system does not fit Benteke well now. Hopefully, maybe Jurgen Klopp will see. He needs to buy some wingers, and Coutinho is injured out now. So the supply is not there, right? So and he is still scoring, 1 or 2 goals. So that's, I think, maybe good enough for now. So yeah, hopefully Jurgen Klopp maybe find someone who can cross.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You've scored just 1 goal in your last 4 away matches in the league, losing 3 of those games. And Norwich have lost 9 of the last 11 league meetings with Liverpool. All points to me to a goalless draw.
Okay.
Where do you watch the game, Cheryl?
Okay. As you know that we are one of the official clubs in Singapore, Singapore and Warriors. So we have a place to watch the game at Owen Road. It's called House of Commons.
Okay.
We are setting up the area right now, and we are waiting for the fans to come. So
okay. Cool. Well, have a great night.
Yeah, thank you, man.
How many people will be there?
I think about 50 of us.
Nice.
Yeah.
And do you give it the whole match day experience? Do you give it the whole? Do you sing the "You'll Never Walk Alone"?
Of course, man.
No.
That's a ritual or a culture for
us. No. Hey, do us a favour. Can you video it?
Sorry?
Can you video it on your phone?
Sure.
And then send it to us. We'll stick it up on our redcardsportsradio.com.
Can. Sure, no problem.
I think it would be fairly entertaining. And then, when you lose the game, can you video that as well?
Oh, man, really?
Yeah, even funnier.
We won't lose the game tonight.
Okay. Hey, Sharon, lovely to talk to you. Your story about Anfield is awesome, bro. I love it.
Thank you, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, no, what a place Anfield is, though. You been there, Steve?
No, I've never been, but I mean, everyone who I know that's been there just says it's fantastic.
Just because you know it's Anfield, isn't it? Because the place is a dump, really, isn't it, Cheryl?
It's so much history. Think of all the players that have played there, the games, especially if you're saying about the European nights. I mean, it's
man.
But it's a real dump, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real. The place around it is not very pretty, is it?
It's not. I didn't expect Anfield to be, when you watch in TV, it's like, wow, Anfield is great.
Yeah.
But when I was there, it's like, wow. It's like the old Jalan Besar Stadium.
Yeah, it is. Right.
It's like, wow. It's like a ghetto thingy, Like, oh, wow. It's really an English club. Also, okay, that's fine enough. But it's when you enter Anfield, the fans there it really turns you on. Wow. Yeah. What such a great experience for me.
You need a new stadium, really.
If you say about a new stadium, maybe if we go to a new stadium, it won't be the same.
Well, okay, build a new one where you are then. I don't know, but they're under progress to building more seats, right? Were they doing?
Yeah. The main stand maybe about 20 more thousand seats for
20 more thousand. What are you drinking?
I thought all the planning had gone through. It all been approved now.
Yeah, I think
everything's go.
Extending it now, aren't they? Were they doing building work when you were there, Cheryl?
Yeah.
I think most of the time you just say yeah to me. You don't understand what I'm saying. Hey, I'm from the south of England. I talk proper, man.
No, the thing is, I'm on the side of the road and I can't really hear you that well. Yeah,
I'm not going to ask what you're doing on the side of a road, Cheryl, but lovely to talk to you.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure, man.
Cheryl there is a Liverpool fan. Wow, what an experience.
Yeah, I've been to some grounds, some pretty ropey surrounding areas, I'll tell you. Well, Pittodrie at Aberdeen's not great. Right. Parkhead, Celtic, dearie me, that is...
I've been there.
Awful round there.
Wasn't that bad?
Dundee and Dundee United, because they're like 100 yards apart.
Right.
Probably the worst I've been to is Millwall.
God, what, the old den or the new one?
The new den.
Right.
It's still not fun. And it's not great round White Hart Lane.
It's not, is it?
Upton Park.
It's not great there. Portsmouth's awful.
We've upset pretty much half the division. It's great round Chelsea, mate.
That's quite posh round there.
Yeah, it is very posh.
It is very posh, very nice. Yeah, good. I like it there. Fulham, no good. Well, Fulham's not bad. You're on the Thames.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, QPR's okay around there. It's
a bit tight, isn't it? It's right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, but it's not too bad.
Saints is all right.
It's rubbish when you go to some of these new. Like, I mean, I went to Old Trafford. The only time I've been to Old Trafford was Euro '96, and it's just kind of right out in the middle of nowhere. You kind of don't feel like you're. It's better when you're actually in the thick of it.
You think so?
Yeah.
I've not been to Newcastle. That's in the thick of it.
Yeah, you're running the gauntlet as an away fan, though.
Really?
A lot of people have been up there regular, especially if you're from the south. Not too friendly.
Really? God, about Cardiff and Swansea fans and all that as well.
Yeah, Cardiff's. That's. I think that's more if you're a rugby fan. I think look at.
Oh, come on. No, if you're a football fan of those two teams, they have proper early kick off at 7 a.m. just to avoid any trouble there. We're with Steve McBain. Sorry, we're rambling a bit. We're with Steve McBain on the Andy Penders show on Red Card Sports Radio. It's been a good show so far. We've had the chairman and vice chairman of Tampines Rovers come in, Krishna Ramachandra and Leon Hwee. I think they came across okay in that, right?
Yeah, they did. They were very candid. You kind of expect them to be a bit more like a politician.
Well, that's kind of my fault, right? Because I need to. I need to make them feel that they're comfortable enough to answer some questions, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. But I thought, once you get them smiling, then they loosen up a little bit, right?
Yeah. So
I thought we got a few nice clips from them.
It is. It's a pleasant surprise, I think, to see that they're not someone who's the people who are maybe a step above the others, kind of.
Mind you, I haven't said that. They both arrived. What cars were parked outside there, Steve, today?
I didn't see any, actually.
No? A couple of Ferraris, Ferrari boys. Yeah, well, actually, let's get a race between you and your McLaren and the Ferraris.
I went to the McLaren factory in London.
Yeah, tell me all about it.
Fantastic. It got taken around by none other than Bruce McLaren's son-in-law.
What?
So fantastic. All the history and the cars, Ayrton Senna's, World Championship cars and the car that Bruce McLaren was killed in, all these, fantastic.
Wow.
Really good experience.
You've got the frequent flyer points card for McLaren, right?
But
Oh, Oh, it's too good. We're with Steve McBain. We're looking forward to some Premier League matches tonight. We've also taken a look forward to the AFC U23 Championships. We'll get to the news, Nick. We'll do some news. After that, we'll preview Southampton up against Manchester United at Old Trafford. I can tell you about where I was last year watching that game as well. We're not going to go until 9 o'clock tonight, which is more of a note to my mum more than anything. Because I tell you what, the biggest complaint we get, Steve, and we try and put this together because we're a big community and is that the show's too long. That's a nice problem to have.
But people don't have to listen to the whole thing.
Exactly right. And
they listen to the whole things because they're enjoying it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Anyway, it's easy for me. It means I can go down the pub earlier. Right. Plus, got Chinese New Year coming up. Not that many guests around as well. Anyway, regardless of our problems...
I'm in town, mate.
There you go.
I'm grounded for the next 2 months.
Oh, I bet. So you've also done WACA?
Yep.
Love the WACA. I went to a T20 match there last year.
Yeah, I've few issues though, mate. I don't think the WACA's going to be around that long.
It's falling down.
Well, the problem is that they haven't done any work on it. They lost the test match, and then you look at Adelaide, who've put up this 55,000 all-seater, all singing, all dancing stadium. And then as you're sort of driving up to the WACA, you look just about a kilometre and a half to East Perth. There is a new multi-purpose 90,000 stadium being built. Now that's a city of 2.5 million people plus Fremantle, 90,000 stadium. I think everything's going to be going there. Apparently, the WACA members, my mate down there, he's a WACA member. They were polled and asked if they'd contribute to developing it. They all said no. So why they couldn't have built the 90,000 stadium on the WACA site, because there's a lot of spare land off to the side as well for car parks. But I don't see a future for the WACA, and it's a shame because it's just
it's the WACA, isn't it?
Brilliant ground.
Yeah. And good fare on offer for you there with the T20s?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the Scorchers had been in great form, but they blew it completely. They got thrashed by the Melbourne Stars, lost their home semi, and then got beat by the Stars last night. KP took them apart last night.
I was going to say, which marquee players did you see in that?
Well, this is like the 5th or 6th time I've seen KP bat live, and every time he's been rubbish. No. I've seen him in the Ashes so many times, and he's just been pony every time.
But it's KP.
Yeah.
It's Kevin Peterson.
But I mean, the shot he got out to last night was just ludicrous. Trying to play left-handed to a fast ball. I mean, it's just after he'd smacked 60 off, 40 balls. So the finals on Sunday. So it's the Sydney Thunder against Melbourne Stars. So
there's big international live sport just down the way. Everyone, just a short plane ride. I was going to say train ride there. Short plane ride to Perth. Let's get there. Perth. Did you go to Nick? Did you go? Where did you go to university in Perth?
I did go to university in Perth.
Did you go and watch any cricket?
No, because I live nearer to Fremantle. It's difficult for me to get down.
Did you go and watch any AFL?
AFL, no.
What?
Yeah, no.
Rugby?
No. It's just too. I was a student. I didn't have money at all. Like I was down to my last cent every month, just paying for food.
Do you know what? Perth's so expensive. It's ridiculously expensive. In fact, it's more expensive than Singapore. In fact, everywhere is expensive in the world now, apart from. Went to Malaysia recently. That's awesome to go there. Hey, let's get the latest sports news then, Nick, with Nicholas Lim.
Thanks, Andy. We start in tennis. Joanna Konta has become the first British woman to reach the 4th round of the Australian Open in 29 years after she beat Czech Denisa Alatova. Konta eased past Alatova 6-2, 6-2 to reach the last 16. Konta will face Russia's Ekaterina Makarova for a spot in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Andy Murray has also reached the last 16 of the Australian Open. The Scotsman beat Portuguese João Sousa 6-2, 3-6, 6-2, 6-2. And in a bit of drama, Murray's father-in-law Nigel Sears collapsed during the match at the Rod Laver Arena. And finally, in golf, world number 1 Jordan Spieth and former top-ranked player Rory McIlroy have both struggled to impress in the second round of the Abu Dhabi Open. McIlroy failed to register a single birdie on the day, and Spieth's only notable highlight was a drive that hit a spectator, which saved him from hitting the water. England's Andy Sullivan leads the pack with McIlroy 2 shots off the pace, while Spieth lags the leaders by a whopping 7 shots.
Nicholas Lim there with the very latest sports news. I just going to have a look at the newspapers with you, Steve McBain, and just the transfer window side of things. And I just copied and pasted these, right? So let's just see whether we think any are true or not. It is in the transfer gossip. Let's head to the Star first up.
Must be true.
Okay, done. Ross McCormack. Not interested in him. They wants to sign for Newcastle. Newcastle are considering alternatives as their bid for Saido Berahino drags on. Does anybody want Berahino?
Well, I mean, his attitude's got to be in question, right? I mean, Pulis, I think is a good man manager, but he's, just had a myriad of issues with him. Ross McCormack, I mean, why anyone Leeds, didn't they spend like 12 million on him?
They did, yeah.
Nuts, right?
Well, no, then Fulham spent a lot of money on
yeah.
this.
The one I think Newcastle I would like to have seen happening was your England man, Andros Townsend.
Yeah.
But there's the difference of opinion on the valuation, but at times, I think, Daniel Levy gets credit, but at the times when I think he just digs his heels in for the sake of it, I'd just get rid of an unhappy player.
Yeah.
They could probably tie in some bonuses if they stay up and some things. I mean, that's a deal that should happen.
Pochettino full of praise for Daniel Levy, because it was interesting having a chairman here, asking him what his role was and what his take on football is. Wolves are in talks. Well, I don't care about Wolves. Forest are in talks. Don't care about them. Middlesbrough are in talks. Well, Daily Star. What are you talking about? Right. Chelsea and Liverpool are going head to head for free scoring Shakhtar forward Alex Teixeira. Daily Mirror.
I mean, Liverpool seem to be in pole position for this one. He's probably at the right age to make the move. Will he do it in England? We'll have to see. I'd certainly far rather see him come than Alex Pato, which I just think is just madness. I mean, great player, great talent, but, he's just, so injury prone, hasn't played since November, so we just want to add another one to the list of, injured strikers on big wages. He's not going to come for small wages.
Well, it sounds like ideal for Liverpool.
Well,
if he's that injury prone and that much money.
Can just at least he can keep Sturridge company.
Well, just a tidbit on this, right? The moment Liverpool launched the bid for Alex Teixeira, he came down with a hamstring injury.
Well, that's exactly why Klopp wants him. He'll fit right in,
What did you say? It's because they all of a sudden protect their back pocket, their wallet in the back pocket. Just joking, Liverpool fans, you know that. Okay. Manchester United are putting all... Oh, where is Jose Mourinho? That's what I want to
know. He was in China.
Oh, he was?
And
what was he doing?
I heard him also gave a speech backing one of the Portuguese centre-right political candidates for the election in the next week or two. So whether he's maybe going to make a move that way into politics, I'm not sure.
What?
I don't see where he goes. Managerial-wise, I don't see where he goes from here.
Alan Bentley joins us online. The best tips are in the business. Any betting markets, Alan, on where Jose Mourinho might end up next?
Well, I think as I said to you before, if I was a betting man, Andy, I'd be betting on him having the England job. I think he thought he was going to get the Man U job. We know that they've been speaking to Guardiola midweek. Guardiola perhaps looks as though he's going to go to Man City, but I still think it should be the England job if he wants to move back into management. I think his bluff has been called somewhat, mate.
How are you, Al, by the way?
No, I'm very well, thank you, Andy, very well. And it's warmed up a bit over here. It's been a chilly week, but it's warmed up over here.
Steve
so all is good.
Steve McBain is with us in the studio, just saying how desperately cold it was over the winter over the Christmas New Year period.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It was,
No.
but as I say, it's a beautiful sunny day today, Andy. So
it's 15 degrees when I landed.
Oh, okay.
It was miserable. It was rain.
Rain.
But it was really mild actually.
Gotcha.
Well, there is a little town in Wales that had 81 days of rain on the bounce, which perhaps isn't anything new for monsoon hit countries in Asia, but for sleepy Wales it was somewhat different. 81 days on the bounce they had rain.
What's the celebrity watch like this week, Al?
It's been a bit quiet this week, Andy. I did see Clive Allen, the old Tottenham player, at the station again the other day. But other than that, it's been a bit quiet. I've been a bit busy. I've actually been keeping my head down back in the office, which is back at home. So I've not been out so much, Andy. So there you go.
Well, I don't know what surprises me more, the fact that you've been working hard or...
I didn't say working hard. I mean, there's working and being productive. They're probably two different things. I do have the ability to get sidetracked at any available opportunity.
any available opportunity, I'm being sidetracked. Let's sidetrack ourselves then and stop talking nonsense to maybe looking at some productivity in providing some decent tips for this weekend.
That's okay. I mean, I've got one hidden gem for you in a minute, but I think there's a few in the Premier League as well. I'm not happy with this Liverpool team, Andy. I don't know if you guys have just been discussing it, the Liverpool team to play Norwich, but I go sort of misty-eyed when I think of Liverpool in recent years down at Carrow Road with hat-tricks galore for Suarez, Sterling, Coutinho, Gerrard in their pump, Sturridge scoring goals. Even Naheen, the old Dortmund player, scored down there. But you look at this Liverpool team now, you wonder where the creativity is and where the pace is. And Norwich at 130, 4.33 with Pinto and Naismith making their debuts. Arguably a big price. I mean, they've drawn with Everton, they've drawn with Arsenal at home. How can you be backing Liverpool in a match like this with Liverpool's recent record and with this team out that they've got? It astonishes me.
I like the signings that Norwich have made, particularly the ultimate pro in Stephen Naismith from Everton. So that'd be quite fun if he scores against Liverpool.
Well, he scored his first goal for Everton in a derby match against Liverpool, and he was always a feisty character in the derbies. He's a feisty character anyway. There was a great photo of him squaring up to the Norwich boss Alex Neil in their playing days up in Scotland when Neil was at Hamilton and Naismith at Rangers. He's a feisty character, and I think he'll relish taking on this Liverpool centre-back partnership of Toure and Sacco. As I said, he'd like to get amongst them, and he's got the other fellow, Mbakani, alongside him. I can't see Liverpool keeping a clean sheet, and that immediately puts them behind the 8 ball. I couldn't be backing them with your money, Andy, and I say that as a Reds fan through and through.
And you say that knowing that I haven't actually got any money.
Well, there you go.
Hey, all right, what's this little gem you've got there now?
Well, I'll tell you where it is. It's over in Portugal. It's they've got a number of teams in Madeira, 3 in particular. You've got União, you've got Nacional, you've got Maritimo. Well, this is the sort of secondary Madeira derby, União against Nacional. Now, União are 14th, Nacional are 15th, but União in better form. They've won 4 of their last 8. They've lost only 2 at home. And yet, you can get them at 9-4, 3.25. Plus a quarter goal on the Asian handicap market. It's just a wrong price, and I can't pretend I know much about the teams, but to me I try and keep it simple. The price to me is everything when I have a bet, Andy. I like to go on the outsiders, and it's stood me in good stead over the years. And União of Madeira against Nacional in the Madeira derby this afternoon is the one, the hidden gem.
Hey, thanks, Al.
Okay, mate, there you go.
That's it? Anything more to report?
Well, as I say, you look in the Premier League, there's been money for Aston Villa. I cannot quite see that. I mean, they were still woeful against Wycombe the other night. West Brom have been a bit in and out, but I think West Brom are certain that one, despite the fact there's been money for Villa. And there has been money, can tell you, for your beloved Southampton away at Manchester United. Now, I know you've won just 2 out of 17 away from home, but I think you've got a chance. I mean, you've improved in recent weeks. I know you'll be saying, oh, no, we can't, blah, blah, blah. But United are still poor. They're a moderate team. Yes, they've lost just 1 in 11 at home, but I think Southampton are a big price. And one thing that, looking at the stats, I must be honest, this has sort of bypassed me. Looking at the game Sunderland against Bournemouth, can you remember Jermaine Defoe scoring in 10 games on the bounce for Bournemouth in his days down on the south coast? I mean, I suppose of a dredge my memory I could, but it seems a long time back. Sunderland, though, continue to be poor, but they're a big price. They're 2-1 at home to Bournemouth. West Ham have been backed against Man City. They're 4-1, but they have been backed. Although the bookies are expecting West Ham to fall away, I can tell you they're only even money for their game against Villa next week. So if you fancy them, back them now. But they have conceded 347 shots on goal, West Ham, and only Sunderland and Newcastle have conceded more. And speaking of Newcastle, I think they're a big price against Watford. Watford are starting to slide. I know one judge who's backed Watford at a big price to be relegated. And to me, it seems as though Igalo in particular has got one eye on perhaps a move during the transfer window. And if there was ever a time for Newcastle to play them, arguably it could be now.
Thanks, Al. That's a nice little wrap up there. I'm actually not going to blah you about Southampton's poor chances, because I think having seen them switch formation to a more of a 3 at the back, I think we're looking. Southampton are looking very much more threatening, and we won there last season, courtesy of Dusan Tadic. And that's good. Yeah. So there's no blah. I'd love to see Charlie Austin involved at some point.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I like Charlie Austin. He's got a little racing club, Charlie Austin. I tell you what I have been laughing at today, Andy, is this transfer window. And this obligatory pose of the players with their new scarf or their new shirt. And it's Devante Cole, Andy Cole's son, just signing for Fleetwood. He's holding the shirt up, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute. Not in your wildest dreams were you ever considering a career at Fleetwood. Let's be honest, even the most ardent Fleetwood fan wouldn't be considering that. So don't bother us and don't insult us with these stupid photographs. He's joined you, and that's all there should be in terms of the matter. Nonsensical photographs, Andy.
Hey, thanks, Al. Good to speak to you.
All right, mate. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Alan Bentley, bye-bye.
My nan was from Fleetwood.
Well, perhaps you'd relish the picture then. Not even the most ardent Fleetwood fan would... Oh dear. Hey, Manchester United against Southampton, worth looking at because, all right, Manchester United have beaten Liverpool. They were aesthetically a lot better to look at when they played Newcastle. All the Manchester United fans are saying, well, hang on a minute, everything seems to be a little bit rosier. But let me tell you this, Steve. One sideways pass, one backwards pass from Carrick, if he's not even playing, is he? From whoever's their midfielder.
No, he'll be in the stands. That's what they've employed. That's how they're getting the fans going now. They've got all the players in the stands.
The star, yeah. Oh, yeah. Saw that.
Just to stop them booing.
What do you make of that? I tell you what I made of that. Why has it made so much news?
Because it's a massive publicity stunt. Because they've tipped off all the photographers now beforehand. I mean, why would they be scanning that end for?
Yeah.
It's much harder to boo your team if there's teammates,
Could have backfired. Wouldn't you imagine if they got into a fight or something? Can you imagine?
Well, Marcus Rojo, I mean, you fancy him against most people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks a bit tasty.
Yeah.
I think you've got a good chance tonight.
Yeah. See, we don't thrive under that sort of pressure, Steve. The Super Saints.
What do you think of Charlie Austin? Good signing?
How many? He got 10 goals in the Championship, didn't he, this year? I mean, he must be earning a boatload. That's the only problem.
Takes a bit of the pressure off Pele, though, because he has these sort of lean spells. When
he's gone.
You reckon? Where's he off to?
Juventus.
Is he?
Yeah, have some of that. No, I think that's because Shane Long's a useful, really good deputy, I think. Let's get the latest preview to this, the latest team news, so I know what I'm talking about, with Simon Barlow.
Manchester United will look to extend their unbeaten league record to 5 games when they entertain Southampton at Old Trafford on Saturday afternoon. Despite criticism about their performances in recent weeks, United remain well in touch in the battle for a Champions League place, just 2 points behind 4th place Tottenham. But again, there has been mounting speculation about Louis van Gaal's future in the media this week, with suggestions the Dutchman will quit Old Trafford in the summer. The reports have not helped Van Gaal's already strained relationship with the press.
I don't think that the press have to help me with my decisions. And first they have sacked me, and now they are interfering in my future. I don't think that I have to answer this question. What is happening in the media is a different world. Not everything what the media is writing, I'm sorry to say, is true.
The injury problems continue to mount for Van Gaal, with Ashley Young the latest player facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines. The England international will have surgery to cure a serious groin injury picked up at Liverpool last week. Bastian Schweinsteiger, Michael Carrick, Marcus Rojo and Phil Jones are all still missing for the home team, who have won just one of their last 4 home league fixtures. Meanwhile, back-to-back wins have seen Southampton start to move themselves away from the relegation tussle. Saints are up to 10th after victories over Watford and West Brom, and will look to make it back-to-back wins at Old Trafford. Last season's 1-0 success was their first win at United since 1988. Ronald Koeman has bolstered his squad with the capture of Charlie Austin, who he admits could feature on Saturday.
Of course, I was a little bit worried because Charlie had a hamstring injury before we signed him, but he had all the medical tests and he did all the training sessions of this week, and he's really fit. Comparing to the rest of the team, he's really fit, and that's good news, because then he can be part of the squad of this weekend.
Austin could start as top scorer Graziano Pella faces a late fitness test on a knee injury to see if he can feature. Jay Rodriguez and Florian Gardos are both still sidelined, but otherwise Koeman reports no fresh injury concerns. United will look to complete a league double over the Saints after their 3-2 success at St Mary's back in September, when Anthony Martial scored twice on that occasion.
Thanks to Simon Barlow. Dan Bond is a Southampton fan, regular contributor at Red Card Sports Radio. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Andy. How you going?
Yeah, good, thanks, buddy. Hey, watch out, because everyone's tipping the Super Saints to get something from Old Trafford today. What have you been saying all week long?
Well, I think there is a chance, I have to say. I think a lot of it will be down to whether Koeman's going to stick or twist in this game. We've seen in the last 2 games against West Brom and against Watford that he's gone with a slightly different formation, almost playing with wing-backs, if you like. It's been more of a a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-2-1.
It's a weird back three, isn't it? You've got Bertrand, Van Dijk, and our skipper.
And you have the problem.
And Matt Targett playing.
Matt Targett, and the one thing that does do is provide width. And Targett and Cedric have literally been playing.
I just looked over and saw Steve's face. He's looking at me like, this is the worst radio ever. He watching two Southampton fans.
He doesn't like this same chat, does he? But hang on, last time when I predicted the Chelsea win, we came good in the end. So let's have a listen to this one. I think against Watford and against West Brom, they both played, Cedric and Targett both played so wide that it caused the opposition quite a lot of problems defensively, because not only could they get crosses in for an informed Shane Long, it also creates quite a lot of room in the middle for the likes of Ward-Prowse, Davis, and obviously Mane's pace as well. Now, I think the one thing we do have to try and do against United, we know they don't score goals in the first half at Old Trafford. We know if we go 4-2-3-1, we'll be matching them like for like, and I'll probably be quite comfortable with that. Let's try and expose the centre-backs, Smalling and Blin, and test them in the first sort of 10 or 20 minutes and see if we can get a goal, because we've seen against the likes of Arsenal recently that if we do get that first goal, it's much easier for us to dictate the game and try and get in behind and get that second later on.
Look at that, Dan Bond giving you enough good reasons for the Super Saints to win.
I think it's there. I think a lot will be down to the formation he goes with, and if he sort of sticks with what he's done, which may be a bit more of a gamble because it will leave space in the wide areas for Martial or Rooney. But it's a calculated gamble because we know that Man United don't start well and don't score goals in the first half. So if we can get at them and score the first goal, I think it's there.
I was just remembering what you said about Matt Targett earlier in the season, what you thought of him.
What did I say?
You said he was like the worst player in history.
Well, how many games has he played this year?
I've no idea.
Well, not that many, mate. But as a left back, I didn't think he was that good. But he's been playing as more of a left winger.
Yeah,
and
I mean, we've got Charlie Austin on the bench as well, and I don't think they should start with him because this team that played the last two games has played so well. I think it's a case of let's let this team play until there's a reason for us to change it.
How much money do you think Charlie Austin's on?
I think he's on $100,000 a week.
A lot of cash, and there'd be a lot of upset faces.
I mean, the fee wasn't much, was it? But I mean, that's still a lot of money, and he's a proven goal scorer. He's going to play in the width of the box, and he will be there. I think Saints have created quite a lot of chances this season. I think behind Arsenal, Arsenal, Chelsea, and a few of the others, we've created quite a few chances, and we need someone who's going to stick them away. But at the moment, you can't drop Shane Long. Mane provides too much pace. And I think it's a case of, we'll start with him on the bench, and if there's a reason to bring him on, we'll bring him on. But if not, let's go with the team that started the last two games.
We're 7 places and 12 points worse off than we were last year. Been a bit rubbish this year, isn't it?
Yeah, we are. But I think the last few weeks, I mean, the same happened last year in terms of the way the season went. We started well, then we had a really poor spell, and then we picked up again. I think the last few games you've seen us picking up, and we've got a lot of strength and depth in that squad. There's not too many injuries at the moment. I don't think we'll finish as high as we did last year, but I still think there's a few good results in us. And the squad's looking nice and healthy. We've got Charlie Austin in. I feel go out in the summer. A couple of youngsters coming through as well. Van Dijk looks good at the back. Foster's back in goal. So I think it is looking good for the future. Be interesting to see what happens to Koeman in the summer. He's got 1 year left on his contract, whether he re-signs or whether he sees his contract down, but we shall see.
Linked with Chelsea today, and Steve doesn't really fancy it. I agree with Steve. I don't think he's all that.
I think he's done a great job at Saints. You can't deny that. Last season we had our best season in the Premier League.
Best thing he did was he took that picture of the training ground and no one was in the shot. Do you remember when he just signed? After all the players were going.
But again with Koeman, I mean, how much is down to him really, and how much is down to the club structure? I mean, you look at what Southampton have done now. There was a really excellent article I read in the Guardian. I read it today. I think it was actually yesterday, about just how little or how much difference the managers actually make. And I just wonder with Koeman whether if you unplugged him at Southampton and put somebody else in,
it wouldn't make a difference. It wouldn't. So I
don't think the question would be who would you put in if he wasn't there. No. I think when I listen to him in press conferences and what he says after games, he says all the right things. He hasn't put a foot wrong with the media. It doesn't seem like he's put a foot wrong with the players. He seems to be handling this Mane thing quite well. Same maybe for Wanyama, two players that it seems want to go and want to play for bigger teams and play Champions League football. He says no one's going to go in January. You can be pretty sure that if he says that, no one's going to go. So I think, Southampton are a club that are established in the Premier League now, but you've seen with other established Premier League clubs that if the wrong man's in charge, things can start to go wrong quite quickly. Look at Newcastle, for example, and they've got a coach like McLaren, who's obviously a brilliant training ground coach and highly regarded in the game, but he's not a top man in terms of managing a team. He shouldn't be the manager of a Premier League football team, in my opinion, and that's because he doesn't deal with certain situations very well. I think if you look at Ronald Koeman, I couldn't tell you when he's put a foot wrong being in charge of Southampton. And I think although we're slightly lower down in the league at the moment than we were last season, things are looking up again. And we've come out of this bad spell, and suddenly we've got a different way of playing in the last 2 games. So
I love it. We beat West Brom and Watford. That's it.
Yeah, we've beaten Watford and we've beaten West Brom. But, Watford, they've been a good team this year. When we played them, they were 7th.
If you look at what Southampton have done the last 2 seasons, it's quite remarkable. I mean, in that, you've had, some of your best players taken in the last, 2 summers. I think the difference between this season and last, and why you're lower down this season, is that the players you sold or lost in the summer, if you include Alderweireld, Schneiderlin and Klein, those have really hurt you, I think. Yeah. Whereas the season before, you just didn't blink. No. It was just like Liverpool bought the wrong players.
They did, absolutely. I tell you, someone should have snapped up Stephen Davis too, for my money. Anyway, Dan, good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, mate.
Where are you watching the game tonight?
Well, I've just had a load of veins taken out of my leg, so I'm hobbling around a little bit. So I'm going to watch it here. I had a problem with, you remember when I told you I had a hernia?
Yeah.
It wasn't a hernia; it was some veins. So they had to strip them out last week.
What did that hurt?
I'm hobbling around a bit, but I should be alright in the next few days. So hopefully I'll be back on it soon.
What was it then? You had some varicose veins or
So
something?
varicose veins, yeah, they weren't working properly, and they were causing some problems in my leg. So they said you need to have them taken out. So I went in and they inject the veins, and then they just burn them. So they just burnt the leg, and then it kills the veins, and then the blood runs through deeper veins in the leg. So it wasn't too bad, just a day surgery. But
is that a football problem? Is this a football injury?
It's related to football. It's hereditary, but it gets compounded when you play a lot of football, especially on hard surfaces. And since I've been here, I've been playing on artificial pitches, and it's got worse because they're obviously much harder. And it's a lot of road running in the past as well. So like heavy impact sport. So it's going to have to be more of the bike, I think, after I get recovered. But it's okay. It's just a day surgery and a couple of week recovery, so it should be fine.
Wish you well, bro.
Get well, mate.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, I'll see you
Dan
soon.
Bond there. And if ever there's a message for kids, don't go running. Don't do any physical exercise. Or you just end up ruining yourself. Right, it's the Andy Pennant Show on Red Card Sports Radio. I think we've had fun tonight. Is it worth looking at the rest of the fixtures just for a prediction? Yeah, I think it is. Leicester Stoke. Steve?
Should be a good game, this. Leicester sort of struggling. So 2 great stats with Leicester. Do you know, of all the goals they've scored this season, not one's come from outside the box. And they've got the lowest passing accuracy of any team in the division.
No, get out of here.
Which means they've just been obviously just going hell for leather every time, they get it, and just, trying to play all the killer balls and all that. I mean, Leicester, they've been a bit sort of iffy. Stoke have been, tough to beat. I fancy Stoke to get a point here.
Crystal Palace Tottenham, perhaps the game of the day.
This could be a really, really good game, but I fancy Spurs at the moment. Spurs are a good team at the moment, really do. Son's back. I remember at the start of the season, you were cracking on about him, saying what a great signing he was, and I know he's been injured, but when he's been on the pitch, he's been gold.
He's different gravy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very, very good.
West Brom against Aston Villa.
I just turned that one off. 1-0.
I don't know, derby of sorts.
1-0 West Brom.
I'll tell you what, let's get the latest team news from Carrow Road, shall we? As Norwich City take on Liverpool. You can listen to it live on Red Card Sports Radio on StarHub Channel 225. Let's get the very latest. Who's there for us? Oh, it's Steve Pearson.
Alex Neil's Norwich side like their home comforts. They've taken 11 points from their last 5 games at Carrow Road. It's been on their travels that they've had problems. They're looking to bounce back today from defeat at Bournemouth, and they have made 4 changes. 2 of them include new signings. Ivo Pinto and Stephen Naismith both make their debuts for the Canaries this afternoon. Dorrans and Redmond come in as well. So Neil's side lines up with Rudd in goal, Ivo Pinto, Martin, Bassong and Brady across the back. Houlihan and Dorrans are the holding players in midfield, with Naismith, Howson and Redmond getting forward to support Mbakani up front. For Liverpool, they're looking to bounce back as well after that demoralising defeat at home against Manchester United last week. Just the one change from that side, Alan Lallana drops to the bench, Jordan Ibe comes in. So it's Mignolet in goal, back four Klein, Toure, Sacco and Moreno, Emre Can, Lucas Leiva and Henderson across midfield, with Milner and Ibe getting forward to support the lone striker Firmino. There's been 15 goals in the last 3 games between these sides at Carrow Road, so it's nailed on for a 0-0 this afternoon. We shall see. Hopefully an attacking encounter. It's Norwich against Liverpool at Carrow Road.
I absolutely agree with Steve Pearson. Quick Liverpool take, Nick. What's going to happen at Carrow Road? Yeah, exactly. That's been Nick's reaction to every single Liverpool story.
Well,
ever.
it's just really, you don't know which Liverpool will turn up. It's just so difficult to predict anything they're going to do. They played so well. Oh, well, okay, not so well, but they played better than Manchester United and they lost the game. And then they were around. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I hope they win. I really do. I think they're due one for a while now, particularly away from home. But it's just so difficult to predict. And you've got Stephen A. Smith in the Evertonian.
I think he's going to score.
I mean, he's played for Everton. He's going to come in and he's going to be like extra motivated for a new club against Liverpool. Mbokani's very physical and. You know, Liverpool defense, they struggle to deal with these really, Igalo made a meal of them, when Watford beat them, and then Sacco from West Ham, he's strong as well, and Liverpool struggled against him. So I really don't know. It really depends on which Liverpool. Liverpool, they create a lot, they don't score a lot. So, and when Southampton can attest to it. Sometimes you create and all it does is it goes into the goal, but then it really it's hard to say.
Nick's just fading himself off.
They create a lot, don't score a lot. Benteke.
Exactly. Elsewhere, Bayern Munich pulled 11 points clear of Borussia Dortmund at the top. A hard-fought 2-1 win at Hamburg yesterday. Empoli against AC Milan in the Italian Serie A tonight. Tennis is going on. No Joe's through to the last 16. Federer became the first man in history to what?
Yeah, I saw how many games he's
won.
Yeah,
300 Grand Slam matches.
Grand Slam matches.
When he was here for the IPTO, he looked class, man. I tell you what struck me, because we had the IPTO, just how alert he was, just how twitchy he was.
I was at the men's final at Wimbledon the year before last, 5-setter Federer Djokovic, and even though Djokovic won, I mean, Federer, it's like he levitates about 2 inches above the court and he just glides across. He's just so effortless. It's just brilliant to watch.
No Nick Kyrgios. Thomas Berdych beat him. Serena Williams hardly broke into sweat. She beat Daria Kazakhtina. Radwanska continued her impressive campaign as she beat Monica Puig. Spanish La Liga. Oh yeah, we're jumping around. Sporting Gijón climbing out of the relegation zone. A 5-1 defeat of Real Sociedad. An opening goal.
Davy Moyes.
Opening goal after 15 seconds. How about that? Tonight, Malaga against Barcelona, Espanyol Villarreal, Granada Getafe, Real Madrid against Real Betis tomorrow. I think that's your lot done for today. Steve, good to see you.
Good to see you, mate. Good to be back.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time. Good luck tomorrow night. I might come and watch it with you, actually. Where are you watching it?
I'll be at home.
Sounds good at places, eh? Sounds like free beer. Who's on tomorrow, Nick?
Well, actually, Steve's coming back tomorrow.
Oh, great. Yeah, Dez Corkhill on the show.
Dez Corkhill and probably the smartest man we know, Toby Duman. He's on the show.
Oh, any guess?
Well, waiting on Young Lions. They're a bit wishy-washy about it at the moment, but hopefully we'll get someone on.
Why are they wishy-washy?
Well, they always go, it's their rest day, and I keep trying to tell them, look, they're just coming on for an hour.
It's a rest day.
Well, because all the other days are training days, and so Sunday's an off day, and I think
you make stand up. So.
But I think they see coming to like a media interview or media session as work, and thus if it's a rest day,
I've never thought of it as work.
Yeah,
once.
yeah, and that's what I keep trying to tell them. Look, it's not work,
And plus, you hang out with Andy and Steve and Nick.
Yeah, right. And that's why I keep trying to tell them. And they're having none of it. They're having
sort
none
it
of
out, young lions. Sort it out. We've already had the Tampines chairman on. Thanks for your company tonight, everyone. Red Card Sports Radio is the place throughout the week for your local, regional, and international sports news. And we'll be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock for it could be 3 hours, it could be 2, couldn't it, Nick? Depends how we feel.
Yeah.
See you then, everyone.
It's a red card, and he should get 2 red cards. That's got the red card out.
Red Card Sports Radio, the best sports station in Asia.
Faces around the training ground, and the club have said, "Okay, you're our man. Go and boost this squad."
Yeah, it's fantastic news for the manager because, like you just said, the club have said, we're going to support you. We follow what you're doing.